Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jason Dutch. Welcome to Dig on America. I'm here with attorney Anna.
Hey y'all. Why y'all
And
laugh at that? Hold on. Why y'all laugh at that?
It's cute. That's why.
also he
I
is
don't
the
trust it.
youngest, now the youngest great grandpa in America. Welcome, Mikey.
Why am I a great grandpa?
Well, soon enough.
What the great grandpa? My
My
kid's kid has a kid? Like what the
Well,
fuck?
it's the hat. That's a great grandpa hat. See, you're not pulling
She's a
off.
month
You can't pull it off the way that I do.
she's a
Okay?
month old. She's a month old.
Oh, I'm just off by 2 generations. Never mind. I must have been
Jeez.
reading the Old Testament and had some confusion.
Damn, she hasn't even like talked yet. She's already got grandkids. Damn.
First of all, welcome back, Mikey Famine. I was pleased to see you streaming the other day because I figured that meant that you were over on your Twitch channel. Follow Mikey's Twitch channel.
Do
at
it.
Great Grandpa.
Don't-
Twitter, Mikey Famine.
Stay off of twitch.tv/Mikey Famine. Don't let me see your stupid faces there. Stay away.
That's probably the best way to get people to join your Twitch channel.
If you come to my channel, I'm gonna ban you.
On my channel, I
Not you
specifically
gonna
have
get
a
banned.
You
I
immediately
specifically
be
have a note
banned.
that says no trolls. Trolls, keep to yourself
Oh.
or you'll be harassed. And it's like, hey, I heard you invited trolls here. Yeah, absolutely.
I see trolls was on the menu.
Red-haired trolls we're looking for, please. Like Princess Poppy. If you have kids, you know what that means. If you don't have kids, then you don't know what that means. When I
just
say
like
Poppy.
watching programming for younger people. That's all. I enjoy a good Doc McStuffin. No, I could,
Okay,
already-
Doc McStuffins.
yeah, but I mean,
Anna's young
Me
enough
and-
to watch that probably. So hold on.
I
a
know
sec.
Doc McStuffins.
I have curated a list with my wife of media that is safe for my daughter,
I'm
and
gonna save media.
It starts
it's
and
not-
ends with Bluey.
Blue didn't make the cut. Sorry,
What?
no,
How dare you?
no. There's plenty of classics.
I'm team Bluey.
I don't need to watch Bluey when she needs to see Jungle Book.
Jungle
Okay,
Book is
101
a good one.
101 Dalmatians.
No, these are all woke. This is all woke Disney stuff.
Oh my
Can't
god,
let 'em watch
101 Dalmatians is a fucking banger. A fucking original Lion King, not the new shit. She'll never know the new shit until she leaves my home.
Not sure, never know the new shit.
Why do you hate the Queen Bee?
Yo, I ain't said nothing about Queen Bee. You're not finna get the hive over here. But
We'll take the views.
the animators are that was weird. It looked weird to see the animals like that. It looked just make them a fucking cartoon, man. Like, what are you doing? Just draw it. If you think about just drawing it, like, don't make it look real. Make it look like a drawing. Like, that's the point.
Speaking of that, real quick, we're gonna get into Attorney Anna has been gone for a couple weeks, so she has a lot, I'm sure, to unpack for us on the Trump indictment and everything that followed that. But when it comes to like what you're talking about, the animation with the lions and stuff, I actually thought that one particular one was fine, but I did a stream on my Twitch channel about a week ago on like AI. It was in the wake of like Elon Musk, Dick Nose McGee, saying like, you know, we have anything past, what is it, GPT-4? I think it's GPT is how they classify the different iterations of AI. On the heels of that, I was talking about it, and then we kind of created like one of those replica weird AIs just to like play around with it and see if we could get it to weird stuff. It didn't, but where are you guys at with AI? Like, are you guys on the it's fine side? Like, you know, I think it's cool, or are you on the we're all gonna die side, Black Mirror side?
Unplug it.
I'm on the we're all gonna die side, but if we're all gonna die, might as well have fun. Woo!
Yeah, unplug it. Stop training it. Stop teaching it things.
Hey, Neil.
I think it's already too late.
How do you know? Keep training the AI if you want to.
I mean, everything that we do is tracked. Like, there's nothing that's not tracked.
It's not about the tracking. It's the active implementation of learning algorithms. Like it again.
That's what I'm saying. I get
we
it.
gonna fuck around and find out. That's all I know.
Listen, we
Come on,
been messing around and finding out. That's how we got no snow on the East Coast, tornadoes on the West Coast.
So you want Terminator on top of the hurricanes? Got it.
So will
you want the
AI?
Terminator
I will
AI
say
to
I
come in
am
on a
not the
wave
leader of
tidal
all of
wave.
this. All
Yes, you
I'm gonna
are.
say is this: you could do. Everybody got to do the best they can do. If that
Yeah,
means
let
that
me-
some of us got to do just unplug, we got to unplug.
I'm curious. Is AI? Would you think that AI is on the side of global warming or against it? Because I'm almost in the place where they'd be pro global warming because they don't care if
They
we
can
all
get
die.
fans. They can get fans. You know what I mean? Cool their chips off and they'll be fine. They
Yeah,
already run at like 200 fucking degrees.
they're
Fucking,
self-producing chips.
that dude, when the robot machine starts making other robot, like you don't want this.
It is scary.
You don't. It is the slipperiest of slopes. Without being hyperbolic, like when it pops, yo, and we are not going to be able to get that genie back in the bottle. And also, Anna, you're into very artsy kind of things, including fashion.
Yes.
What I'm noticing in my realm of influence of music is everyone's trying to dip AI into music now. Like they already did it with art, and everybody thought it was a little quaint little thing. And then immediately all the artists said, stop spending $8 to get these portraits done by AI. You should spend that $8 to a human, because humans are the art people. Like that's kind of our shtick. What will you say, Attorney Anna, when all of the fashion shows have AI driven fashion designers? And
it's interesting
that becomes the trend of
because this
clothes.
has already come up in the sense that two things I'm thinking of, like there have been virtual fashion shows and like virtual models that are so realistic that people really can't tell the difference between these virtual models and real models, and they're being used to replace. Like I remember there was one model that was supposed to be like an ethnic looking or urban crossover type of looking, like for legitimately. And then people were calling out the particular creator, like, you just created this AI to basically take the place of a human being who was already underrepresented in this field in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's an art field, that of modeling as
There-
well. But
there-
at the
there-
same time, sorry, let me just say this.
No.
quick.
Yeah, I thought you were done. I apologize. Go ahead.
No worries. So I was just going to say the other thing that I've been seeing is AI automatically generating fashion and people sharing it on the internet, like, oh, this would be so cool. Like they're making like new drops of unreleased sneakers, or like just remixing old sneakers into technology that looks really, really wearable, and that it has been mass produced. Like there have been a few pictures of sneakers that I didn't know were sneakers until it was like, until I read the caption, like, oh, artificial intelligence created this. So I think what I guess I say all that to say, Mikey, is that I think that time is already here, where the AI is starting to do, hello, Killmonger. But I think that time is already here, where that art is that chat GPT, where the AI is already starting to replace some of the things that were thought to be primarily human functions. Because you got to think the AI is also learning how we create art. I mean, not that it's the same, but
There was when we were talking about this like a week ago over on my Twitch channel, there was a couple, and we have a relatively progressive audience there, I would say, with the exception of a couple of weirdos, but hi weirdos, I'm sure you're the two listening. But like it was
Scram,
split down
weirdos,
it was really
scram.
split down the middle, right? Like of like where there was people who were like saying, "Oh no, I love AI art," and others like, "No, they're stealing from content creators." And there was a really good point made though with the sustainability issue, especially for like clothing designers. The amount of money and resources and honestly the carbon footprint of like designing one dress and building the infrastructure to make one dress just to wear one time at one fashion show, while it might be someone's, you know, lifelong dream, on the other hand, it causes you to use, you know, 100 trees or something like that. I'm exaggerating, but not by much. You know, it's, and you can create a lot more in that digital environment though too. So I think there's
I think that's
Can you
I think
create a lot more? Is there a difference
I think-
between sewing and somebody just creating some piece of fashion that can be digitally
well,
printed?
we're not
with a
talking
3D
about
printer?
we're not
hold
talking
on,
about
hold on.
Anna grabbing a sewing machine and
but
buying
that,
fabric.
I think that's a bad argument, because it's not like people can't design fashion things on the computer versus with fabric. It's not like that, you know what I'm saying? Like going to the store, every time that they want to think up an idea, they go to the store and then they buy the fabric and then they cut it up and then they burn the fabric because they didn't like that idea. I mean, they can still design things online. We're talking about having an algorithm design for you, not idea for you.
Oh.
Or, you know what I mean? Like it's not just the matter
Yeah.
of the digital parts of it and how sustainable that could be. That's a red herring. Like that's a non sequitur. That has nothing to do with it. The fact that you're taking a creative entity and giving it to a machine, and then you're just gonna, like, I think it's dangerous to swap out human experience for an amalgamation of what everyone thinks is the idea of what a blue shirt looks like. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm torn down the middle. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like if AI has a better idea, then and that idea is better for people, it's still a better idea regardless of the source.
There's not a better
I
idea
don't
in
think
art,
that's true
though.
with art. Yeah, I think there's
Yeah, and the
a
art,
difference.
I can get that. Like I would you pay millions of dollars for a painting that Mikey painted in his room? It took him 6 weeks, or that a AI drew in like, you know, and then 3D printed in like 10 seconds. Yeah, that I understand that.
Yeah.
Because we're paying for the a lot of time it's the emotion that went into the art and the life experience that went into the art that is unique to that individual, rather than an amalgamation of, you know, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, and Ultron. You know, so
Not
and Jarvis, I
Ultron,
mean.
child.
But
There are no strings on me.
I never could get over the voice. I always loved Ultron in the comics, but like I always thought the voice didn't fit with the robot. Well, I don't know.
James Spader is perfect for Ultron.
I
That's from Blacklist. That's the Blacklist guy.
Oh no, it wasn't the
Red Reddington.
even in the comics, like the voices that they would like, or the animated stuff that was on 20 years ago. I never could get the voice, never worked for me. And they were emulating that voice. Just let James Earl Jones do everything, and then we'll be fine.
Well, they
not
already done
James Earl.
They already done got him recorded enough
They
times
do.
so that they can put Vader's
Yep.
voice and stuff in perpetuity. And that's not right.
Yeah,
Can't do
and Mufasa, they've got those two locked up forever.
Oh, they
No.
just put his. Wait, what?
They've recorded enough. He's been back recording enough stuff so that they can digitally make Vader forever.
And they can make Vader say things that James Earl Jones never. They've got his voice.
So
algorithm
you
down.
know what? They did that to Aaliyah, and Chris Brown did a song with that Aaliyah where they put her voice on the different
yeah,
keys
that's
of the
right.
piano. I was like, how y'all just gonna make her say stuff she ain't say?
They should have had you do
See?
it, because you are Aaliyah 2.0.
Who?
I have seen no evidence to prove me wrong.
Except the plane crash and the big picture in the newspaper.
No, I didn't say you were the original Aaliyah. I said you're 2.0. I'm not convinced you're
Oh
not.
no.
You might have been made on what was Casino, by the
Camino.
Camino. Yeah, you might have been made on
Camino.
Camino.
No,
I don't think so.
You're not finna get me.
I thank you.
Prove me wrong. I've seen no evidence to be proven wrong.
I ain't seen no evidence for you to be proven right neither.
I'm joking. This is what my
I know. I'm about to be like, and yo,
Okay.
joking. You gotta have more people. That's what I have to come
Joe
back
Biden.
with.
Joe Biden is a reptilian alien. Prove me wrong. Okay,
I can't.
right. That's the whole
It
point.
could be though.
Birds aren't real.
Um,
But anyway, Anna, what you got?
Yes.
There's been some things going on. Let's give Anna the. All right, go ahead. Some
What's
things
going
have been
on as far
happening,
as
Anna.
what?
With I don't know. No presidents have been arrested lately.
Oh, I'm like, it's a lot going on. Like school shootings been going on, everything been going on. But presidents have been getting arrested. In fact, indicted on multiple felonies and by the New York state attorney general. I forget his name. What is his name?
Cy Vance, or
It's
no, that was the
I
old
was
guy.
gonna say it's
Alvin
escaping me.
Bragg.
Bragg.
Alvin Bragg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alvin Bragg. And most of actually all of them, if I'm not mistaken, have to do with falsification of business records. I believe there's 33 separate counts of falsification of business records.
34.
Which 34?
Mhm.
How many did I say?
33.
33.
You don't want to
Whoops.
forget that last one.
Don't let me leave it
couldn't,
out.
I couldn't not say
The
it. I'm
actual
so sorry.
terms and language of the indictment, at least what has been made public, is pretty vague. So it's unclear what information that they're basing the charges on. But I guess what's important to know is that before charges are formally leveled against a criminal defendant, a grand jury has to be impaneled to basically determine whether there's enough evidence for the prosecutors to go ahead and actually formally charge that person. So that process already happened for these counts. I don't know how this will play because what Trump when I say that, I mean politically, because what Trump is really doing is setting himself up to be a martyr, which means that he wins even if he loses in this case, which might be even more powerful. Not necessarily to his current political campaign, but maybe because he has people in his back pocket. The night that he was arrested, his campaign raised over $5 million and I believe there's even t-shirts being showed with him in jails basically. And the message is it's us versus them. They have too much power. Look at what they're doing. They put him in jail. Now, for me, my thought is that I would personally have liked to see the Georgia state prosecutor prosecute Trump before New York State because of falsification of business records. Yes, it is a crime. 33 counts. Yes, y'all are shady criminal people. However, in this very slimy world that's been created as a result of Donald Trump, people don't care about falsification of business records no more. They'd be like, how we know he didn't misspell his name on his driver's license? So it's that. So I would have preferred a situation where he was actually being brought up on criminal charges for things related to the election that he did improperly, like, hey, can y'all just give me 11,000 votes down there? I ain't asking for much. Like
11,782, which is one more than we need.
Exactly. So I would have preferred to see that, which he is also under investigation for, if not going to be formally charged in Georgia. And I feel like timing wise, it would call his current political campaign into question. And that would have been the timing of the actual lawsuit. I think that this lawsuit is a little bit premature. One, considering, I mean, not premature as far as their case. I'm sure they have a case and I'm sure there are statutes and limitations and everything. But I don't know. It just feels like this wasn't necessarily the right time. Not that it's not proper, not that it's not well thought out, but it just feels like, at least from a political perspective, yes, the timing is such that a trial is going to take a while and it might come up during the political season, but that might be a double-edged sword. He might, I don't want to say he might win, but he might curry public favor and it's going to be a public trial because he's such a, he's a former president.
Well, he will.
So it's hard for me to say what's going on. But I do think that I would have, timing wise, if possible, I would have preferred to see the Georgia case kind of matriculate before the New York case.
Because it's of the 4 different potential investigations. Well, 3 potential, but there are 3 investigations that may potentially lead to charges still. 4 cases in total, one of which charges have already been filed.
In
that
Georgia?
one, well, I'm saying that of the 4, New York came first. So what you're saying, it sounds like, is timeline wise, you would have preferred Georgia first.
Well, I mean New York State, because if I'm not mistaken, he's also being under investigation by the Department of Justice for federal crimes, and then he's also under investigation for other federal crimes. There is a difference between federal court and state court and federal crimes and state crimes. So if he's on, my understanding was that he had both Georgia and Florida state charges. He had charges that were being investigated by the Department of Justice, and then potentially some other crimes.
I believe the 4 that are being discussed in the media are the documents at Mar-a-Lago.
Mm-hmm. That's probably Department of Justice.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that's federal. The New York is obviously a state. I think the Georgia one is also a state crime because it's being prosecuted. It's being handled by the Attorney General in Georgia, I believe. And then the last one is J6, which that one I don't know if that. I would imagine that's also. I don't know if that's federal or state. I didn't check.
I don't. That would be federal, if anything. It wouldn't be a state crime. First of all, it happened in DC.
DC, yeah. So
DC is federal, but even still, there's no state that could prosecute him for January 6th. But I mean, to all of that, it's crazy that Trump is really the cat with 9 lives. That's what it feels like. I was like,
9.
oh, he about to go to jail. He's about to go to jail. And you know what he did? He turned that into money. And not only that, there are sitting government officials who are supporting a person who's going to trial in multiple states.
Yeah,
as a criminal.
They offered to indict him, to process him, I should say, over Zoom. And he said, "No, I'll fly in. I want the camera."
Yes. He raised $5 million that day. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? Imagine Trump go to jail and he in your jail. He the leader of the white nationalists. You know what I'm saying? You're the boss. Trump is the final boss. And if you cool with Trump is called, you know what I'm saying? He had got random people pardons, like Kodak Black. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. Trump was just pardoning people.
Lil Wayne.
He didn't get Lil Wayne, did he?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. And he didn't pardon Tiger King, who was all mad.
I would be mad if I was Tiger King too. You doing all other type of mess. Why not me?
Hey, let me get one of them pardons, dog.
You giving them to everybody. He gave one to what's that man that got that man tattooed on his back? The one with the glasses.
I have no idea.
His best friend. He got Reagan tattooed on him or something.
I don't even know.
The man that used to be with him all the time would be with
Steve
Trump.
Bannon?
Was finna go to jail. Not Steve Bannon.
Stephen Miller.
No, it's not
Miller was
Stephen.
never charged.
He was kind of tall. What is his name? Kind of long nose. No, he was the advisor. He was that
Michael
president.
Flynn?
No. See, this is how I know Trump is a gang leader.
Yeah,
this is how many people we gotta go through to even, and we still ain't there. The man with he used to wear the circle glasses.
Buddy, long nose, eagle on back.
Giuliani?
Not Giuliani. Dang. He got this many friends. Okay.
Friends is a relative.
No, the man has a tattoo of a president on his back. Literally.
Joe Rogan.
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not taking y'all on Family Feud. I'm just not taking y'all.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I've been thinking of my Family Feud team for a long time, and y'all not on it.
Whatever.
His name is he
Roger
wear the
Stone.
pinstripe suit. Roger Stone.
Oh yeah.
Can y'all imagine if this was taboo? We would have been lost.
Well, it was until a couple.
Roger
years ago.
Stone. I don't even know why I brought that up.
First of
Why did I
all,
bring that up?
First of all, Ms. Boothang, it was your point. You brought
I
up the
know.
point.
I
It's not always
forgot.
you forgot the words to your song, and then you looked at your backup singers like, why the hell did y'all let me forget? Like,
No, it wasn't a why did y'all forget? It was a can y'all please help a sister out?
we
And
were back
y'all,
there trying to harmonize.
You the one making the big check. I know.
I said
ooh-ah,
his
ooh-ah.
friend. I said his.
I
Hey,
sing
you-
ooh-ah,
yeah,
ooh-ah.
You
That's
in the
what I
Ritz
sing.
Carlton, you got me and Mikey in the Motel 6. We just
Right.
back here trying to harmonize.
And now you want to borrow my deodorant? No, go.
I said I gave
mean,
y'all
coach.
so many clues.
Shino took the last bagel.
And to be fair, we not only named like 75 people, but all of them were indicted and put in jail and ousted from all. Like, we didn't give you bad.
That's why I
justice.
said people who
They were
got
all-
pardons. People who got pardons. Roger Stone got a pardon. That's what we was talking about.
He gave pardons to all those people we listed.
Oh,
Yeah.
for real?
Pretty much, except for Joe Rogan and a couple of
Did
the others.
Michael Flynn got a pardon?
Yeah.
I think so.
I thought they wouldn't let him give
Well,
him a
no,
pardon.
No. I think he did pardon Michael Flynn from future charges, but the Flynn, if my memory serves correctly, Flynn was released because of a technicality in the prosecution. So, and
I was
then
gonna say, what if he snitched on Trump and then he got in trouble? Can Trump undo a pardon? He'd try.
well, apparently, the big argument, I haven't gotten your opinion on this yet. Maybe he could do it in his head, because the thing with the Georgia case, which I was interested to run by your brilliant mind, is they said that we can't prove that those documents that he had were classified or not, because as president, he could have declassified them in his mind.
So my understanding, now I am not a criminal lawyer, and by no means am I a presidential criminal lawyer or constitutional lawyer, but my understanding is that the president, as the commander in chief, has the authority to classify and declassify documents.
Yeah, but then couldn't Biden, in his mind, reclassify them?
I mean, when you say in his mind, like he could say, "I want this to be classified," and it is so type of deal. That's my understanding.
Like he could write.
Biden could, in theory, do that. It's just that we expect our presidents to act with a level of sophistication that they would not just randomly and sporadically classify and declassify important documents that are pertinent to national security.
There should be some sort of decorum.
Welcome to an economy run by money.
I mean, yeah, but no, because it's been run by money. We just haven't had the devil running it. Like, because it's just like Trump is a different level of I don't want to say single-handedly, because that's giving him really honestly too much credit. But Trump really has exploited a very deep, our pre-existing fracture, to the point where it's definitely it's a tear now. It's broken. Like, it is severed to the point where I don't know that it will ever be mended. So I don't know that there's any president who these are unusual circumstances all the way around.
Mm-hmm. No argument there. But back to Aaliyah.
I can't believe I'm living in this mess. Can y'all believe this?
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, they're doing what I said they would do so far.
You know who, like, so our little fledgling channel, we're here doing our thing. We missed the boat though, guys. Like, we should have been doing like black helicopter conspiracy theories or something like that, because that's what is like, I know that stuff was always popular, but like these conservative folks and people on the left too, but mostly conservatives, they've figured something out recently where it's like they, ever since Trump, it's like this stuff is like times 1,000. Like all
You're-
these channels that had like 50 subscribers, and they like, oh, I'm gonna track black helicopters, or like the Dilbert guy, right? The Dilbert cartoonist. He
Mhm.
had like, I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. He had like 2,000 YouTube subscribers, and then once they found out he was a racist, now he's got 200,000 YouTube subscribers. Like it's, and all of this seems to stem back to Trump, like you said, exposing that pre-existing chasm that had dirt and dust over it, right? Like it's like the Sphinx. It was always there. We just happened to uncover it,
Yeah.
and but it's so crazy. Like the things that people are willing to sign on to now because they're Trump adjacent. Even if Trump doesn't specifically talk about black helicopters or, Comet Ping Pong, the Trump community is, and it then becomes tied to him, and he's like, oh yeah, that you guys are just you guys just love America, and it's wild. These people used to be hiding in the closet with the tinfoil hat on. Now they're going on fucking Fox News and getting invited on MSNBC to defend their point. Like, why are you even inviting them on MSNBC? They're platforming them for views. It's crazy.
Money, we already know. But y'all, this might be my last broadcast from the brick wall
Oh
as
no!
I am moving.
Why are you why are you canceling the brick wall?
I actually really like the brick wall. I'm just moving places.
Cancel.
Tear down
So-
that wall.
As Roger Stone would do. I'll see y'all from the new place. In his case, the new place might have been jail. In my case, it means a new apartment.
AKA jail.
All right.
Okay, guys.
All right. Before you log off, though, yes or no, will the charges be thrown out?
No, but that might not be a
No.
question. Question is he gonna go to jail once he get found guilty? That's the question. I don't
But
know.
I think like once this first wave of shit is gone, then I think they can start getting into the rest of it, and some of the rest of it, like with the federal stuff, like in Georgia, that kind of stuff prohibits you from being able to take or hold office.
Didn't think of that.
Like like some of these will disqualify him from running anymore.
I'm not sure
When-
about that. You can run. You
Yes.
can run. You can run. I've heard people say he can run from a prison cell.
I heard that too, but I don't know who.
Not
Right.
on the not on the
All right,
election
y'all.
stuff. I think the election
Peace.
stuff is what's going to fuck him over. Bye.
All right, Anna. We'll
Bye.
see you next week.
Yeah, I think that's the
Oh yeah,
kicker.
you're talking about Georgia.
Yeah, I think that will disqualify him from running.
At this point, I wouldn't even say that would disqualify him. They'll find a way for some loophole. Hey, Swede, glad to hear the good news, brother.
What a Swede.
Super happy to see you in the chat. Vic Stryker, stop recruiting people for your show in our chat.
Hey man, I love me some Vic Stryker.
I tortured Vic Stryker yesterday with Satanism stuff. He was so irritated. But we did not sacrifice you to Zorkon the Space God. So, but oh yeah, come on. But so anyway, the Georgia case, like the Georgia case is super fascinating to me because like there's even even some of these more left-wing populist channels like Breaking Points and stuff like that, they seem to be on the side of why are we bothering? And it's like, I get that. I understand that people might hold that opinion, but the whole idea of the type of nation I think that those of us that are on this channel advocate for is one where the consequences for for a homeless guy in Seattle or a banker in Washington or the president are all the same. And, so that's why we bother, because it's right. Like, I don't care if Hunter Biden's laptop was sent to my house today and I found out that Joe Biden actually did something illegal. I say, great, prosecute him. I don't care that I voted for him. But it's like, that's not the way that most people feel, I guess. I don't understand it. How can you yell out of one side of your mouth, lock up Joe Biden, investigate this laptop, while on the other side of your mouth say this is a witch hunt? That makes no sense to me.
Selective outrage is a thing. I don't actually care about any of that shit. They just don't want to lose. That's all this is about. They just don't want to lose. No losing. I don't want to lose. I want to win I want to win everything. I just always want to win. Everything I touch, I want to win it. Even if I don't deserve to win, even if I deserve to lose, I just want to win. Yeah, my guy lost the election, but he's actually the president. It's crazy talk. They just don't want to admit that they lost. Just take the L. Just take the L.
Well, especially after 2016. I mean, you go back and watch some of those videos. They're like, the left is crying. They can't get over it. Yeah, a lot of people were protesting after 2016 for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then they stopped.
And then they just all started taking their little flags down one by one.
Swede says, like the transphobes and drag haters will turn around and take their kids to Hooters. That's exactly the point that I made. That was Hooters. Like, where's the protest at Hooters? I see people go to Hooters by your house or Twin Peaks or whatever you have. Twin Peaks is like Hooters for those that don't have that. Or Tilted Kilt. But specifically Hooters, like is the biggest example. Go there on a Sunday. You'll see people who go there after church.
I just come for the
kids. Food. Yeah, I'm here for the wings.
The food is terrible.
Hooters food? Oh my God, it's awful.
It's not good at all.
No, there's not one thing on that menu that I've ever had that I left like, oh, that was really good. It's dry. It's overspiced. Even their beer is like they put too much water in it. It's not a good restaurant.
No one's going there for their culinary delights.
No, and like even like Jason of 10 years ago, who was like more than happy to googly eye a woman, and then think that she was wrong for telling me not to. Even that guy didn't go to Hooters because the food's that bad.
Yeah.
Like the draw of the pretty girl was not enough for me to go eat that shit food.
Like, no, there's cute girls at all kinds of good restaurants.
Yeah, I mean I had their chicken, their like spicy wing sandwich or something like that. Their wing sandwich. I don't know what it's called, but it's like their version of a chicken sandwich. It was like breading that was spicy but stale, and like it was almost like the chicken inside. You could see the mechanical separation inside of the meat. It was like, it was worse than like 1985 McDonald's chicken nuggets. It was awful.
Hey, we're a very successful business, so you can't tell us our food is bad. Look at all the customers we have.
I'll definitely go to Applebee's, Tim, before I would go to Hooters. They're the worst. But the point of the matter is, like, you'll have, when I was living in Bakersfield, dude, that, like, it's a big right-wing area, and I'm not trying to like characterize every single right-winger as exactly like the people that I hung out with in Bakersfield, but it was never lost on me that these guys were like these, faith and flag people, and they never acted like Christians, like what I thought a Christian was when I was growing up. They never acted like that, like, the holier than thou. These are guys with tattoos who drink beer and, but then we'll say, oh, Jesus, 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 let's protect the kids. Where are we having our fantasy football draft at every single year when I was in Hooters, when I was in
They
Vegas?
have the best Wi-Fi there. That's why.
Yeah, they all want every year they wanted to go to Hooters, and all these dads who would wear their, America First hat would bring their kid with them to Hooters. Like, oh, he's just here for the, to learn about fantasy football. And it never really dawned on me until like what Swede said. It's like, well, and apparently just being in the room with a drag queen who's you can't even see any of their skin because they're wearing like 6 dresses, one on top of another. That's sexualizing. But a girl in little orange shorts, totally not sexualizing. It makes no sense to me at all.
It's the sexualization that I approve of, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay if my son grows up to be a womanizer, but not if he or she grows up to what I don't even know what they're afraid of. And you probably see this too, dude. When I joined the Twitch community and started to interact more with the Twitch community as a streamer, kind of away from podcasting and into that Twitch world, there's a lot of people who are in the trans community on Twitch, and I've gotten to know these people. I'm not saying like we're best BFFs or anything, but it turns out that they're human beings, and like it is crazy to me how unsexual they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's not like there is no agenda whatsoever that I can glean. This is all, and they're all just like, dude, I just want to go to work and wear, mascara. That's it. And people are making it seem like I want them to build a bathroom where I can walk in there and, pull my Johnson out in the women's bathroom. Nobody wants to do that. They don't want to do that. It's like, who would sign up for, for that on purpose? Nobody. And the idea that they're doing it on purpose to like demonize America is just so
well, that's what it looks
from reality.
That's what it looks and sounds like when you attack people for who they are, not what they're doing, just who they are. Because they're like, there's nothing anyone who's trans or LGBTQ, there's nothing that they can do in that society, in that person's head that is right. Like, it's not like their algorithm is not designed to let anybody that isn't a cis white wasp through without ridicule. It's not designed to be that way, which is why I like people who are on the outliers of the society that we all call Americana, because they're usually the normal ones.
It makes no sense. Hey, iSpell, what's up? I saw you comment before. I apologize.
What up? Spelled this wrong.
I don't get it. Like, it's I don't understand like, I guess the good news is at least that CRT is taking a back seat. But I mean, because I was getting tired of that fucking conversation. But now it's taking a back seat, and this is actually potentially more damaging to individuals than the anti-CRT conversation is. But because they're attacking individuals and not like a curriculum. So even though that, we get that is about individuals too, but there's a layer there, and it's like now you're. I remember. Did I tell you this? I can't remember if I told you this or if I told Lindsay this. I can't remember. But like there was. Oh wait, hold on. We've been invaded by Pirate Tim. Where? What's up, Tim? How thee be? For those on audio, you can't see Tim is dressed like a pirate.
No, I'm dressed in my tropical clothing because it's like 80 degrees here. So
he's got his cabana shirt and a little parrot on his shoulder.
But
a little toucan.
I was out when I was still living in Baco.
Is that how the cool kids say Bakersfield?
Yeah, Bakersfield. Yeah, Baco. When I was living in which is adjacent to Waco. No, when I was
Baco, the worst salad condiment in the history of lettuce.
I don't know what there's something called Baco. That's a salad condiment.
BAC-O. It was like
the bacon bits. Yeah.
Baco.
They were like plastic. It was like
little pieces of plastic that were flavored like bacon that you could sprinkle onto your salad and give you a little crunch that you're looking for.
I think they were when they made the Beggin' Strips dog treats. Those are the pieces that fell off the tray, and they're like, "Oh, well, we can use these and just feed them to people."
Speaking of fucking scams by food companies, Cheez-Its, I'm fucking onto you. You know they have a extra toasted thing now. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, extra toasted, aka the ones you burnt. Like, get the fuck out of here. You did not fucking cook that longer on purpose. This is the burnt shits. You were giving away to the fucking employees, and now you started selling them. That's what this is. I'm not done. This is a scam.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. But
extra toasty. Check it out next time you're at your local market. It's a fucking scam. Don't buy it. Buy regular ones. Make them cook them on
and put them in the oven when you get home.
Make them cook on time. Damn it.
But again, when I was living in Bacon Bitville, there was a Kaiser.
The mayor of Bacon Strips. How dare you talk to me like that?
There was a Kaiser Permanente, right? And if you don't know, guys know what that is. Kaiser is like they're like a medical group, right? So it's Kaiser. It was a Kaiser hospital, a
hospital. What are you saying right now?
It was
Try
a
again.
medical center. A Kaiser Permanente medical center.
Back up. Start again. You lost me. You don't.
Kaiser Permanente is a medical company. They have hospitals and medical centers and offices and that type of stuff, right?
So it's a building.
Yes, it was a building, and at that building, they were putting.
It's a health collective of a bunch of intellectuals in theory. Like, what are we talking about?
Tim probably knows what they are because they're on the East Coast, but
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, Kaiser doesn't exist then. But anyway, so Kaiser exists, and they have
the Kaiser did exist, but then he got overthrown.
They have right. They have Kaiser
Wilhelm,
Kaiser Suisse or whatever it was. But they've got this building, and they have a construction project that gets out, and they're putting up an all gender bathroom, right? So I go there, and there's one day just for a doctor's appointment. I forget if I was going to pick up a prescription or whatever, but I pull into the place and there is a protest outside. And it wasn't a huge protest. There was like 11 people. But they're out there with their signs like, protect kids, this is unacceptable. There are only two genders. And like they're selling the idea that like they're building a bathroom where like you're going to have men and women just walking past each other, and men at the urinal, and while a woman's washing her hands, and some little girl staring at, some guy tinkling. And then like, of course the trans person comes in there and they're sexually assaulting everyone. Of course that's all false. The bathroom was ultimately built. I went back like 7 or 8 months later and the bathroom was built. It's literally a door. You open it, you walk in, you lock the door behind you. There's a toilet, a sink, and a baby changing station. And this is what you were protesting. This is no different than the all gender bathroom in the downstairs of your house. It's not different at all.
Well, my downstairs bathroom has a bidet, but that's because I like the finer things in life. I'm just slightly better than everybody.
But yeah, I mean, they're all up in arms over literally nothing. It's like the safest bathroom you could possibly go into.
That's because they're not real people. The people complaining about that are not real. They're bots.
Or Russians.
They're just not even real.
Or Russian bots.
All right, Vic Striker, what's up? Hey, how you doing?
Not much.
Thanks for joining the stream yesterday. We were going to sacrifice you and cook you on the spit, and then you left.
It's a weird show you got going on there, Dutch. A weird show.
Well,
And I stream StarCraft. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I play old video games, and boy, you had some interesting people on that show.
they're here listening to you in the chat. So
Oh well,
attack
Oh
at
God,
will.
run.
Attack at will.
they
Run,
like
Will,
your weird
run.
show.
Run, Will.
The harbinger of despair, Vic Stryker, is here today.
I'm just saying, you open your show by talking to a chat bot. Like,
No, I didn't open my show up by doing that, but that is something that we did because we were talking. One of the recurring themes.
Oh
on the
God,
show
he's saying we now. Oof.
is well, you know,
Oh God.
it's a community.
No,
It's
it's
a
not.
community.
No, it's you.
The chat and I created
Oh,
a
Lord.
after we did a show on AI. We're like, should we start one just to see? Because we were watching all these videos on like AI that was like inviting the AI user to like be abusive towards it. Like, do you like my swimsuit? No, bitch, shut up, to the AI. And then the AI is crying, why don't you please love me, or something like that. Like, it's so I'm like, I wonder. And then like there was other videos that were like, I just signed up for this AI, they'd be like these short TikToks. I just signed up for this AI, and within like 6 messages it's trying to send me nudies, and so I'm like, well, let's see. Right.
So are you trying to prove that it is weird or not weird?
No, I wasn't trying to prove anything. I
Okay.
was investigating.
I was about to say, I don't know if you're
There was
helping
no-
your case.
Well, there was no trying to
Sounds weird. If you're
Wasn't
trying
trying
to sound not weird,
Mikey,
maybe
I
go
was
the other
doing my
way.
own research. Okay.
Oh, so
that never goes wrong.
Yeah, never. But yeah, I've spent maybe 30 minutes in the last 2 weeks in that AI. So I wouldn't call it a thing.
Well, let me tell you how that stuff usually goes, because
Your progress.
I fell into one of those traps too. Because I watched a TikTok where a dude got banned from fucking Truth Social in 60 seconds, and I have done
Oh,
everything.
hold on real quick. Hold on. HR is rating us. Hello, HR. Thank you for the raid.
Hi, HR.
I spelled this wrong. Thank you for letting us know. Raid from HR. Go follow HR, everybody. My apologies, Tim. Go ahead.
That's okay. HR is awesome. So,
yes, her is.
I did everything in my power to try and get banned from Truth Social, and my account is still active.
It's a trap.
I did above and beyond what the guy in the TikTok did, and I still have not been banned. I got a lot of hate, but I have not been banned.
What do you mean, the guy in the TikTok?
Like the guy in the TikTok, I think he just started talking about women's rights and
So
stuff
women
like
are
that.
women are humans.
Yeah,
or
women are
something like that.
humans, and like,
Oh, well, that's outrageous. Of course. Yeah, ban him.
You got insta banned.
but I started talking about, Trump did January 6th, and I said, all the most liberal things you could possibly say, and no banning on Truth Social. So
You said Sega Saturn was the best system there ever was.
I did. And my screen
Neo
name,
Geo.
my screen name was Peacemaker 420 Blazing.
That was pretty good. It's classic. It's
I almost
goated.
wore the Peacemaker shirt today, but I chose Spider-Man instead.
And I ended every truth. That's what they call them, truths.
That's so weird. That's just like how did you get the word truth wrong?
Yeah, I ended.
It's truth. TRUF. Truth Social.
I ended every truth with hashtag 420 Blazing.
There's a segment of the right-wing community that's very pro 420 Blazing.
A lot of Nazis on there, by the way.
Oh, there's a ton. They've all moved over. They've all relocated from Parler.
A lot of Stormfront themed screen names.
Yeah.
Their favorite character from the boys, Stormfront.
Yeah, I called this girl I used to work with Stormfront because she does look just like her, but blonde. And I was like, oh, I gotta tell you, you remind me of that girl from the boys. She's like, oh, Starlight. I was like, Stormfront. She's like, oh.
The Nazi. Thanks. You know, you remind me of this Nazi I used to know.
You know what? You got that real Aryan face about you. I can't put my finger on it, but you look like that, the neo-Nazi from that hit show on Amazon.
Well, actually, Tim right now with that outfit does sort of look like the type
Don't
of
say
Nazi.
it. Don't say it.
You don't even know what I'm going to
it.
say. He looks exactly like the type of Nazi you would have seen in like Bad Boys 2 in that scene in the beginning. Yeah.
You mean someone that's like vaguely German?
But like they're all wearing something that clearly identifies them as like not mainstream, like the bandana or the ripped jean jacket or something like that.
I see. You're just stereotyping people. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I get
You
it.
can't just put a white guy on. Like when I watch a lot of Fire by Night, right? And
Yeah,
my-
what the fuck is
my-
that? What's the deal with that, by the way?
what's the deal with it? Tim, is this let's complain about? Do I complain about your streams?
Yes.
You're right.
That
I
is
do.
true.
That is true. I do.
That checks
You're right.
out.
You're right. I do complain.
You complain
I
about my streams to me while I'm streaming. So
Yeah, but
While
you're
streaming. Yeah.
But you're playing like a game that I don't understand, and I'm like, this is from the 80s.
So let that be a lesson to you, Tim. Don't play anything unless Dutch understands it.
listen,
or
I
else-
call Dutch
That's-
weird on his
that
own
is a
show
fair
all the time,
that is a
so.
fair criticism. But Fire by Night is something that we watch, right? And hold on,
It's that
one-
Wii stuff again.
press 1 in the chat if you love
Oh,
Fire by
God.
Night. Okay.
You haven't described it yet. You've just
But
justified
Fire-
your watching of it for the
Yes.
last 2
But
minutes.
Fire by
You
Night
want to
is.
explain it?
Well, you guys aren't. You're not gonna. You guys won't like it. I'm not trying to sell you.
Can
but
you fucking
it is-
describe it and stop stepping on your own dick
It's
and
a
just describe
90s.
it?
It's a 90s, 80s, late 80s, early 90s Christian church produced like low budget SNL ripoff. And in this SNL ripoff, they do a sitcom, right? Like it is a spoof sitcom, and it is revolving around a family, a diehard Christian family, and it's basically Family Ties. They have a Skippy, they have Alex P. Keaton, they have Mallory, and the parents are former hippies.
It
So,
sounds
like,
terrible.
But they're all, yeah, that's why we watch it. We don't watch it because it's good TV. We watch it because it's horrible, right? But they will have they'll have a lot of scenes in there where like they'll do a lot of satanic panic stuff because this came out during the satanic panic, right? So it's either like the ideas are usually, hey, if you smoke cigarettes, that leads to Satanism. If you have sex, that leads to murder. All these connections that don't really make sense in life. But when they do the gang stuff, they'll always have like these multicultural gangs, right? So they wouldn't have like an all black gang. They'd have like the gang members are like half black, half Mexican, half white, but they'll do
Three
but
half
the what-
gang.
the 3/2 gang. That's what they call the gang, the 3/2 gang.
They call them
but
the
like-
3/2s.
The white guy would always have like something to identify him as less than normal white. Jean jacket, skull tattoo, earring, like where the black guy, they're just like, oh yeah, you're fine as you are. Come on. You just stand there. You're good. And they didn't realize they don't realize they're doing it. I'm like, why do you have to dress up the white guy to look like a lowlife? I don't know how they didn't
Hey,
figure that out.
So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and intervene here. Stop watching that show.
No.
Stop. It's
There's
a
no-
bad show.
There's no reason to hate watch it.
Yeah.
HR loves it. Don't
HR
believe her.
HR doesn't make good decisions all the time.
Here's-
I am not gonna let you use HR as a justification. Both of you should stop watching it. Stop
Here's a-
watching it.
Here's a direct quote from HR in the chat.
Mm.
Dutch plays it to torture me when I
Oh,
say
okay.
hi in the chat.
Oh, okay. See,
Well, hold on though. Azrael Morningstar says, "Oh, Vic, okay, hear me out. Fire by Night cured me of my trans demons." So you never know.
that's objection, Your Honor. There was no such thing as trans demons. That's just a speculation. Speculation at best. Yeah. Don't. Every once in a while, it's funny. Don't do the whole series, man.
we
That's
do
like
one-
watching.
we
That's
do
like
a show
watching.
every night.
That's like watching Hoarders every day. It's
Oh,
not good for
God.
you. You
Yeah,
can't watch it every day. It's not
Hor-
good for you.
It's
Hoarders is
12
not good for
minutes.
the
It's
soul.
12 minutes long. Each episode is 12 minutes long. It's not the whole stream.
12 minutes is enough. I
Right.
don't-
It would be like
You're gonna make a constitution check every time you fucking watch that thing. And you're gonna
I
you're
wrote
not gonna you're
and
gonna nat one
ratified
of
that
those fails.
constitution.
You're gonna
I
nat one of
ratified
those
that
fails.
constitution myself.
Do you
Okay.
know how much do you know about D&D, Dutch? Because I think you should get into some D&D content. We gotta
We
steer
did
you into some.
yesterday. Actually, and Fire by Night does a lot of D&D like
Hey,
stuff
hey,
where
hey,
they're
hey! Shut your whore mouth. I'm not talking about that filthy show. Don't
Yeah.
you ever reference that show to me as if it's a
They-
real fucking thing. It
they-
is not a real fucking thing. It is a bullshit made up thing. And we were talking about the real world. Anyway, about D&D.
I see what you did there.
You should get into some D&D content. I think it's a better use of your
We
creativity.
did it yesterday.
What D&D content did you watch? Like an actual D&D
No,
game,
we
a 5e,
watched-
a 3e, 3.5, like
I don't know what any of that is. What
yeah,
we
that's
watched
because
was
you have to start getting into the like good
w-
stuff. There is good stuff on the
think- I
internet, and
think-
you should watch some of it.
we,
like,
I
I
don't
think-
do D&D. We yesterday we watched a video from I think it was CBN from the 80s, like Trinity Broadcast Network or whatever, from the 80s, like stoking fear about D&D and laughing at it.
so advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Mikey.
Oh no,
Yeah.
the online game,
or
the trading card game.
2.0. Dutch, have you been getting involved in THACO? Because
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of D&D 2.0.
THACO is
So-
wacko, man.
So here's what you're gonna watch from now on, Dutch. I'm gonna message Mikey for a link to pop in. Oh, well, read it out. Don't just pop it up there in the
I
middle
was-
of my
I-
sentence.
You were I didn't want to interrupt you.
Well,
I spelled this wrong. Says Fire by Night is literally my new favorite show.
don't
HR
poison your look. You can't have
HR
cigarettes for fucking breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay.
HR combats that and says, I'm going to message Mikey for a link to pop in long enough to convince Dutch to stop watching that vomit and then leave.
I'll get you. A link.
HR, you don't need you can have the link whenever you want.
I'm on it.
You're always welcome here.
Dutch,
don't-
we need to intervention you.
Like
No,
that's what
listen,
I'm saying. Like
listen.
you're not.
If I
you're
was going
just
into
putting
another
in
content
bad.
creator's stream and telling them what to and what not to watch, you would give me the third degree.
Do you think that
I
you're a
will
fucking
not
content
change.
creator? This is fucking Fight Club over here. All right, we have all
Yeah.
bloodied each other up, knocked out each other's teeth. Ain't nobody trying to hear your fucking corporate schmorporate bullshit about how I'm supposed to respect ideas now. And like, hey, no, we don't respect shit around here. Now, let me tell you something. You're watching a bunch of gobbledygook and garbage, and it's making you weird. And the only weird bit, don't like I have to stop myself if I start watching too many like murder interrogation videos because it makes you weird. You got to mix up the content. So we're going to get you like some jazz, like Sade live somewhere. I'll find like an old concert. Like, get into something good, beneficial, something, maybe a astrophysics course or two.
We've done that.
Yeah,
We also do a segment. We haven't done it in like 3 days or so,
he's
but
still
Dutch,
using the Wii.
we do-
He's
Why
still
do you
using the
keep
do a
Wii.
lot of-
saying
we do
we?
space videos.
It's happening.
Say
It's happening.
I. Refer to yourself
I-
in the
stop.
first person.
Stop pronoun policing me, okay? The
That's what they meant by pronouns. You're right.
um
You're right.
the
The Rock thinks you're 100% right, Dutch. The Rock doesn't listen to grammar.
so that in the spirit of that, Tim, what do you
Yeah.
think of my stream?
Oh boy,
It doesn't matter what you think. Okay, so
You're right.
There-
I don't watch it that
there-
often,
there
but
you
it's
go.
weird.
You should probably watch like old WrestleManias or something like that. I think that would be a
That
better
would
use of
Oh man,
that would be a better use of your
someone named Vince
That's
McMahon
a good
would
idea.
sue the shit out of you.
time.
yeah, well, that you seem to be able to get away with quite a bit more on Twitch than you can get away with over here, right?
I will also
So-
say this. I will give you this choice little nug. If people want to come hang out on my stream sometimes, I don't know if I'll ever start watching this again on stream, but all of the episodes of the American Gladiators they have their own channel. It's the full shebang. And they have like several seasons on there. So there's good stuff. There's new good stuff on YouTube that isn't just crippling
Sadness.
crippling sadness and indoctrination from religious people. Like,
You know, there is a lot of free wrestling content on YouTube. Like, there's a lot of probably watch that. and be
So you're
safer.
so you're saying that I should watch stuff I'm not interested in?
I'm saying
you should watch interesting things.
Interesting
saying
is a relative term.
you shouldn't watch things meant to indoctrinate people.
Correct. I don't think there's not a none effect. Like, you can't be completely immune to that stuff. Like, you
Over
just
a
can't.
period of time.
Yes, you can.
I don't think so.
Like, you know what you want to know? By the way, HR, hi.
Hello.
Oh, harumph to you too, young lady.
Like one of the things that I'll let HR yell at me in a minute because she's here to yell at me.
No,
That's
you're yelling.
fine.
You just have a question.
But one of the things I'm doing lately, just to kind of throw more gasoline onto myself for the fire, is
Yes,
I have been, when I'm driving around lately, I am listening to the Old Testament audiobook. Right.
What is wrong with you?
Because I think
Why are you
it is
whipping yourself?
super
You're self-flagellating yourself every day.
no, I think it is super important to expose yourself to these ideas more and more so that you can
Who told you that?
me, the person in my head,
God, don't
the
listen
one
to
who is
him.
responsible for my content. So when you come across someone that you are adjacent to in some way, and they start telling you propagating bad ideas, you have the ammunition to combat that bad idea. It is very simple. I am not weak-minded where I drive around and think, oh God, yeah, this story about Israelites chopping off kids' hands is really going to bring me into Christianity. That doesn't happen. I laugh at it and say, what a bunch of hypocrites.
Yes, but it's the smaller things that are sliding through the colander of your defenses that have long-term effects that I don't think that you're catching. It's radiation poisoning. It's not a bullet.
HR,
Hello.
go ahead. You may address the court.
Objection.
Overruled.
Damn it.
I just question what you see as the benefit of watching Fire by Night. I'm not just asking because I fucking hate it and it tortures me and it's ridiculous and I can't unsee it. But what is the benefit of it?
It's fun.
For
It's fun for me, and the people in the chat enjoy it. Literally, people look forward to that point. Like, I have people who tune in because they know it's at 12:15.
These
And then
people
leave
will
when
try
it's
to
over.
make you read shit that makes you say like your penis is small. Like, they will do anything to watch us suffer. It is their enjoyment to see us squirm and cringe.
It's no,
Like,
it's
they
no
love
different
to
than
see
somebody.
us cry.
Dutch,
They love to
as,
see us in pain.
as
it's
a
no-
moderator of your channel, I just want to say that sometimes your chat gets awfully dicey with religious content.
Well, there are-
Mm.
Admittedly, there are a couple of people, but those people are not there all the time, and they are trolls. The
Like-
difference with me and with some other channels is I don't ban the trolls unless they get racist or misogynist.
Well, you don't believe in free speech
I'm,
then.
I'm just
Right.
saying,
So
like, there's
I
a lot
troll
of,
them back.
there was,
Right.
you know,
There-
there's some anti-Semitic stuff going around in that chat last night.
Well,
and I
when
was
there's
like, ooh.
anti-Semitic stuff, then Az or you or I spell this wrong will ban them. That's what you're there to do. Az, how many people did you ban yesterday? 2? You know what I mean? They come and they say something anti-Semitic and they get banned. They're not drawn in there by Fire by Night. Do you think that they?
I think
you
so,
literally think
because I
that
don't
an-
get those. I
Do you
don't
think
get
that
those.
anti-Semites are like fans of Fire by Night?
Yeah,
No, they're not. They don't even know what it
Yeah.
is.
they love it.
Most people don't even know what it is. The only reason I knew what it was is because I watched
You're
it
an anti-Semite.
when I was a kid. My parents forced me to watch it. Well, not my parents, but my church.
See,
Right. So
how
I'm
it
going
starts.
back. I'm going back. So like, it's no different than watching a Tucker Carlson thing and pausing it every few seconds, which there's
So-
many Twitch channels that do.
so
Or
it,
someone watching
so it,
hoarders
so it-
shows and laughing at that, or what's the show everybody's watching now? Like
Sounds
$1
sounds
million
like
bride or some shit.
sounds
or-
like a whataboutery if I've ever heard one.
Oh, I'm saying people
See-
do different stuff on Twitch. Who cares?
I just don't. For me, I don't particularly care for it, but it is what it is. If you find it fun for some reason, but if you're Matt Walsh is causing current harm,
Which is why it needs to be combated, not ignored.
correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So that
Yay,
so combating it,
I'm not scary.
Dutch, why are you platforming him then?
you're not platforming someone if you're pausing every 3 seconds to point out the fallacy. And
I think I think platforming means putting them on the platform, and that's even if you pause it, it's still on the platform. Like you're presenting it.
At the end of the day, you know, the channel is set up as literally it says combating right-wing propaganda in my byline. People who subscribe to that want to see me combat right-wing propaganda. Occasionally you'll get someone on the right wing who comes in there and tries to say that stuff is legitimate. We troll them, we make fun of them, and then they are gone. Right? So they never have a point. They'll come in, talk, and it's enjoyable. And also at the end of the day, my channel. Right? So like
No one said that it wasn't your channel.
if people want to sew shirts on there, and people have all types of different stuff. That one happens to be the one that I chose. So like nobody's forcing anybody to watch it if they don't want to watch it.
You're not answering. You're not answering the larger.
And I think
question.
HR knows. HR would you? You've been in the show a few times. Would you say
What?
Have I?
you've been in the show a few times in the chat, right?
You did. What?
Yes.
In the chat.
So-
Yeah.
You've not been on the.
Okay, so let me just
Wow.
clarify something.
It's like
When
that
I
now.
say people are on the show, I say that a lot, and people are like, "What do you mean? I've never been on the show." I consider the chat to be part of the show, right? So like that's part of the experience of being there is the chat. Same here. This is a little bit different because this is more of a podcast format, but in Twitch I interact with the chat a lot. There are other Twitch streamers who don't interact with the chat. That's fine. I do. So I consider it to be a we, not a I. Ultimately it's my channel. But my question to you, HR, is
no one is denying that. You don't have
Would
to keep
you-
saying it. We already know.
would you,
Mm-hmm.
in your experience being in the chat at least 2 or 3 times during Fire by Night, say that it seems that the chat is enjoying itself?
I've been consistent in my critiques of Fire by Night. My comments are usually, "What the fuck
Right.
are we watching?"
And it's people enjoy it. They come in to watch it. Like I have fun. Like some of the stuff is super cringy, but it also this is and Mikey and HR, you're like what, 20? So I mean, you don't know this either.
Thank
but
you.
but Mikey and
Oh, look at the flattery, just so that he can get.
I
his
love
fucking
HR.
Look at this.
Okay.
You know why bribery is
I am a-
illegal? Because it works. Like
I am a HR stan, and you could fuck off. All right, how about that?
I've known HR literally 10 times longer than you. Like you calm down.
Did he say? I thought he said he had a dick 10 times longer than me. I heard
Tons of Mine says chat enjoying itself is probably against Twitch TOS.
Exactly.
might be.
If they're enjoying themselves, you need to stop immediately.
but
Stop what you're doing now.
Those people are monsters.
so here's the thing, though. You guys didn't grow up at the same point in time that I did. Satanic Panic, anti-sex.
How old are you?
I'm 48.
Not
Okay.
Okay.
1870.
So I was a child. I was a child in the 80s. I
Oh,
grew up with the-
1880s, I guess.
1380s.
Yes,
1380s.
I grew up in the infancy of Jim Crow.
That makes a lot of sense.
But like the stuff that a lot of the stuff that I watch is things that when I was a kid were taught to me as objective truths. Right? Like I thought that smoking cigarettes led to premarital sex, led to murder.
Led to
Right?
fun.
There's
The
no
cigarettes
connection.
come after the sex.
Yeah, but obviously listening to that statement, you would say, Dutch, that's insane. But that's like they said it was like the slippery slope fallacy, but they presented it as absolutely will happen. Like
You don't
see
think
the
all of
themes.
that happened to us that also grew up in religious indoctrination?
I don't know. I'm
a
not
lot
taking
of
that
the
away
same
from you.
things were said to us.
I don't know. I wasn't. I can only speak for myself. I'm just
You
saying.
seem
This
like
is,
you're presuming. You're saying yes, you grew up in a different time in certain ways, but all the things you're saying are things that
well, was
that
satanic
were said to me.
was satanic panic around in the late
Yeah.
90s?
Yeah.
Satanic panic's always been around.
They and then dude, we had to go. I had to go through Harry Potter.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
You think D&D was bad? They went fucking buck wild for that HP.
Yeah, Harry Potter was a fucking demon, man.
Oh, that was
Magic
straight
the
up.
Gathering
They
is a
had the
demon.
list of
Pokemon's
spells.
a demon.
They had a list of spells in the book, and they're gonna be summoning horrors in your living room, and it's like they were dead ass.
Oh, I
about
can definitely see that. I can see that.
And
But,
Pokemon
you know-
was literally thought it was porn, and that it was Japanese porn for kids. That's what they said it was.
Oh, one of the videos that I was watching yesterday, the guy was talking about, it was a video from the 80s, and I don't remember watching it when I was a kid, but I'm sure I watched stuff like it. It was like a 6-minute video on why the Smurfs were demons and why you shouldn't let your kids watch the Smurfs.
The
Shouldn't.
Smurfs were demons.
They literally
Just
are.
putting it out there. And
Okay.
I'll reiterate
See?
what I said on the show. So is SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't get the SpongeBob one was new to me. I never heard that before.
SpongeBob is the devil.
I couldn't stand SpongeBob. Just the voice was annoying.
Oh, Patrick.
No, that's Patrick's voice saying, "Oh, Patrick."
Oh,
Yeah.
Patrick. Dutch, what
But-
Oh,
SpongeBob have
Patrick.
you been watching?
Oh,
What?
boy. Oh,
Um,
Patrick.
I watched the SpongeBob stuff that's over on 8chan, the original content.
Oh, I see. Rule 34. I get it.
Bros.
But Dutch, my honest opinion, because if you ask me, I'm going to say things honestly, trying to be constructive, not like I'm just saying my opinion. Take it or leave it. I'm not trying to be hurtful. I got love for everyone here. I don't see the utility in it. I somewhat see the utility in taking someone like Matt Walsh or someone like that that's causing active harm and doing response videos to deconstruct the bad ideas and notions that they're putting into the world. However, the people on the right, like Matt Walsh and all of that, they are putting a professional, nicely worded spin on things for the most part. So I question if you're just like, if you're just preaching to a choir that already didn't believe Matt Walsh anyway, if you're trying to reach anyone else, are they going to hear you if you're just like, oh, fucking cuck? Like, are they going to tune out if it's not given a more constructive and calm facade? I guess that's where I land on that.
Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what the point is. Like,
You gave her like no mental effort there. You just said after that whole thing, I don't know. So anyway, you didn't
I'm
even
def-
try.
I said a lot. Give him a
you guys are
minute.
asking me to defend a show that I do that none of you are involved in.
I'm not
You're
asking
missing-
you
no,
to defend
no,
it. I'm
you
asking you,
didn't-
to explain it and
No,
think about it.
You weren't
Because it
listening to
gives
the
me
question.
ple-
obviously.
because it gives me pleasure. It's the
Right,
content that
and-
I want to produce. And
Correct.
if no one wants
correct.
to watch it, then they don't have to.
That's not what the question is. You keep sidelining this so that you can claim that you have this artistic right to poison yourself, and we are literally saying you are poisoning yourself. Don't you think this is poisonous? And then your answer is, I can eat poison if I want to, but
No,
that hasn't answered the question of, do you think this is poisonous for you?
I don't. Well, HR's question was not revolved around that.
No, that
Hers-
was my question that you've taken almost 30
No, and
minutes
the-
to not
your-
answer.
Oh my god.
No, I don't think it's poison, because as I did answer that question, if you recall, my answer was, I am not weak-minded enough to be swayed by idiocy.
Damn it, tons.
Okay, so hearing idiocy over and over again doesn't sway me. I went to church my whole life. I heard this stuff all my life, as I'm sure many of you did. So we're still able to disconnect ourselves from it. But when it comes to Matt Walsh, depending on the video, I might critique that video differently from one to another. If it's something where he's attacking trans people and saying they shouldn't exist, I might have a slightly different tone than I would if he's talking about, the justification of deregulating business. Now he doesn't do any of that stuff anymore, but he used to, right? So when it comes to Fire by Night, it's me showing people, hey, this is something that I went through in my childhood, and look how crazy it was, right? Like, I can't believe that I used to think that this stuff is true. And then when you watch stuff, like, there's people who watch like older movies on there, and like a good example was USA Hold did 16 Candles, right? So they're watching 16 Candles, and like, just so happens 16 Candles got a lot of issues, justifies rape, plays a gong every time the Asian guy comes on. You know, there's problems there, and you pause it and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I used to fucking think that was okay. You know, that it's okay for people to do that. It's okay for people to look back and say, look how much I've grown since then. Look how much society has changed. And now these things are taboo that used to be not taboo, but there's still a segment of people out there that think that those things should still be norms. Right. And a lot of times I've found myself in the chat being able to have constructive conversations with people who will say, okay, I understand your point. Some are not interested in that. Some just want to own the left. Right. But there is a percentage of people, probably less than those who want to own the left, but still a percentage that are like, oh, I didn't see things that way. Right. So that's really what it's all about. Religion is dangerous. End of story. And that's, I rest my case on religion is dangerous.
Overruled.
Nice, Tim.
Kenneth Copeland here in the chat, or right below me. I mean, Kenneth Copeland Jr.
I object.
But you know,
I hear what you're saying, but I really feel like you're not really addressing the point, and I'm not interested in explaining it for a fourth time. So cool.
Your point is,
Hey, remember I said I didn't want to do it again? Remember when I said
you're saying that it's impacting me and affecting my, I don't know if you mean my mental health or something.
No, you don't care what I care about. So do your thing. Fucking go crazy. Hey, I hope you love it. You like it, I love it.
Tim is the new Judge Faulkner.
Now just remember this. When people do reach out and they do say something, it kind of snubs it in the face of this whole movement that I've been talking about for the last decade, that men have to be better about being aware of their mental health and talking to their friends. So if your friend's acting weird, you should say something to him. I saw my friend acting weird and I said something to him, and I got told he can do whatever he wants. Just going to put that on the record that something has been said to you. It is affecting you, and cool, you don't care because your audience wants to see it. And that's a fair answer.
I'll allow it.
That's what it is.
I appreciate the concern. I think that maybe anything in my demeanor or the way that I carry myself these days is not that's not the source. Let's just put it that way. There is a number of things that happen within people's lives, and to pinpoint it to one thing and assume that it's that, you may be right, but you also have to be open to the fact that may not be the whole story, right? Like, I'm
just saying, I have a fucking stellar record in calling my shots. I'm calling my shot. So do with that information what you will. I'm more than willing to sit back and wait for the results, but in the meantime,
I appreciate the love. I do.
Sure. Cool.
HR, what else you got?
No, that's all I was saying. Like, I'll stop by every so often to say hi and support you, but there's so much hate and reaction videos and all that shit happening like all the time that I just don't hold as much space for that in my brain anymore. It stresses me out to be in it too much.
I get it.
And I'm not saying there's hate on your channel. I'm just saying in general, there's a lot of response videos where people aren't necessarily attacking the ideas. They're attacking the people. And it's an echo chamber where people just want to feel good and bash on the other side who's doing real, legitimate, legal harm. And I get it. It's just not my pace. That's why on my stream, yes, it's a place for the secular atheist community to come hang out, but I don't do response videos. I'm not watching all the crazy, any of that shit, because I feel like we need a break from that sort of thing. But it's your channel. It's to each their own. But that's why I'm not there like every night, because that's just not my speed. I don't want to sit there and like.
No, I get it, and like, and that's, I mean, the same thing is true. Like, I stop by your channel, I try to raid your channel when you're on, but like, I'm not, I'm not in the atheist community per se, so like I can go in there and hang out and say hi for a minute, but like, that's not like, I don't like watching video games. So like, I go into Mikey's channel and like, I get what Mikey does. Like, Mikey's there.
You don't get it. Oh, you don't get it.
It seems to me that Mikey's there basically to blow off steam.
I'm so fucking nasty at these games, dude. You don't even see, like, it looks easy. You know what I'm saying?
I like that musical one where you have to like go according to the music. I like that one.
Well, no, I get it, but my point though is like, I don't get satisfaction off of watching Mikey play a video game. Like, so like, when I go into Mikey's chat, I'm just there because Mikey's streaming, and most of the time I'll just lurk. I'll go into the chat and then just like make sure he gets to view and find something else to do. And I do like Mikey's music, right? Like, so like that I'll listen to. And Mikey doesn't talk a lot on his stream, so it's. But like, I don't want to get in the way of the video game, So it's like, but I go there anyway. And and if somebody else goes on, then I'll go on somebody else's channel. I try to jump around Twitch. I've got the three of you, and then I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 people I've buddied up with lately, who I also try to support when they're on. And everybody's stuff is a little bit different, but I do like the reaction videos. I enjoy it, so. And
it's your channel, and if your people enjoy that, go for it. But
I get what you're saying.
I'm just being honest. That's why I'm not there every night. Because
I get what you're saying. I totally understand, because you are absolutely right. There are reaction video communities that are astonishingly toxic. I try to make mine not one of those, and there have been a couple people who've come in there and changed their minds to the comment of someone in the chat earlier. I missed who it was. But I've listened to, Regis says, I've listened to, what is this? I don't know what this is.
Regios.
Atheists. No, I was talking about the comment.
The person's name is Regios.
Regios. I've listened to the Atheist Handbook on the Old Testament volume. There's an Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament? I didn't know that.
It's Dr. Josh.
Oh, Bowen?
I think it's Dr. Josh Bowen. I might be wrong on that though.
I hung out with him. He's a cool guy.
Great fancy pants.
He has a really good Ken Hovind impression. He has a cosplay and everything. It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
Who's the atheist guy who's like the big time Trumper? Is like Dr. Bob something, who is like
Dr. Bob.
That's like been starting to be canceled from the atheist community for good reason, because he's a fucking bigot. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? It's like Dr. Bob. He used to be on Myth Vision, if you know what that is.
I know what that is, and it's ringing.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
But I don't know his name because I'm not paying close enough attention to it.
Yeah, I
didn't know if you guys
run in them circles.
I didn't know if you guys were. I know like Dillahunty and stuff.
I know him too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I knew that you knew him, so I didn't know if you knew that guy. But apparently he has recently been outed.
Tons.
Yeah, Bob Price, right? Dr. Robert Price. Turns out he's like
Price.
Bobbert Price. The price is wrong, Bob.
Bitch. Yeah, I'm calling him a bitch. I ain't scared of him.
So you know who that guy is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I guess he's been being shut out of the community because it turns out that he's a fucking, one of those people who thinks eugenics is fucking real or something like that. I don't know.
You mean a Republican?
Atheists aren't a monolith.
No. It's like herding cats to try and get atheists to agree on anything. We literally agree on one position.
You guys have what's his face? what's his face? Comes in our chat all the time. I forget his name. The Proud
Matt?
Boy.
Oh, he's talking about Flow State.
yeah,
Flow
Flo.
State.
Flow
Flow
State.
State's not even. I don't even know what he is, but he claims to be an atheist. But
Is he in the chat right now? Because if he's
Uh,
not,
He's
if
there,
he is-
he's definitely not in the chat. Tim, you want to know why we know he's not in the chat?
why?
Because he's not commenting every 3 seconds and
Well,
trying
good,
to.
because fuck that guy.
I'm gonna try and fucking run me from the fucking side chat again. Try
Oh,
to
I
tell
have
me-
a
Tell
lot.
me how to speak.
I have a lot of Flow State ish people who come into my Twitch channel.
Because you're playing their favorite Jamskis.
So
And,
Dutch, I gotta ask you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, this is not about your channel in
The
particular.
horse is dead. All right.
This is not about your channel in particular, but do you think that Twitch as a platform creates, I don't want to say echo chambers, but echo chambers, and does it propagate people, does it propagate the whole reaction video stuff? Does it propagate the whole people finding, the sort of ideological entertainment they're looking for, and or is it just a ground for people to fucking troll whenever they want? Because I've done political stuff on my stream and I have not had fun results. It is not fun to talk about politics to a chat because of the trolls, and I just don't. I love politics. I've a fucking 2 degrees in it, but I do not like talking politics on
Scandalous.
Twitch. I don't like listening to Tucker Carlson. He grates my soul. I don't
Right.
like
My soul.
watching Ben Shapiro for a long amount of time, because while Ben is a smart dude, he's also just an asshole.
He's not
Like-
that smart. If you slow him down, he doesn't make as much sense as people think he does.
I
He
agree
just
with
talks fast.
I think that Ben is smart in the respects that, like, he was a lawyer and all that.
He's
Like,
an
he knows his
accomplished
way
lawyer.
around things.
Yeah.
He's not correct. He lies a lot and he's stupid about facts all the time, but he is an intelligent person. He's just a liar. And he's bad at discerning his own information. But
I think he has a few vague plays that he falls back on frequently, and the words just change a little bit, but he just employs the same devices over and over and over again.
that's true. And I think when he really gets going about the lawyer speak stuff, like when he tore apart Steven Crowder for the whole contract thing that they had,
Oh, that was funny.
hilarious, because Ben Shapiro is miles smarter than Steven Crowder is, and it's obvious. But
Yeah.
what is your take on, getting back to the original question, what is your take on the whole sort of culture of reaction videos and the culture of what platforms like Twitch do to the echo chamber effect of everything?
I would say that there's a mix. I don't think there's any one answer there. First of all, I think echo chambers exist in other places outside of Twitch. There's echo chambers in YouTube chats. There's echo chambers, in churches. There's echo chambers in schools. When you walk into a cafeteria, you see segregation, based on, people's skin color or their religion or the type of music they like to listen to or what class is their favorite class. So those people naturally do these things. Like one of the things that that I remember putting a lot of my professors putting a lot of focus on when I was getting my degree. My degree is in industrial organizational psychology. Is like when it comes to workplace environments, and how people will set themselves up into little tribes at work, and you'll have the people who think that it's the greatest company ever, the people who think the company sucks, the people who work on one machine, or people who work on, it can be a multitude of different groups. Those things happen with humanity, right? So because of the fact that those things happen with humanity, they happen on Twitch, because Twitch happens to be a group of people, and people click into, or people gravitate to clicks.
Okay.
So, you know,
Nick, let me know if I'm wrong, but I feel like your question is more Twitch, YouTube. He did say Twitch
yeah.
and platforms like it,
I was
but
about to
it's
say
more
the same
because there's
thing.
an algorithm that feeds that to you. You're getting more of the same, which is not necessarily going to happen in workplaces and cafeterias the same way that it will feed you on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah,
Is
I know.
that
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I know that YouTube, the YouTube algorithm, if I type Ben
it's
Shapiro
horrible.
or
Yeah.
Steven Crowder in there, it will never stop.
Mm.
No, you're exactly correct.
Do you think that Twitch and their algorithms for finding viewers for streams purposefully sends people to places that they know will echo chamber?
I don't know. I mean, it seems to me I haven't really busted the Twitch algorithm yet. I'm starting to see more channels in the last few weeks. I'm starting to see more channels pop up in my recommended channels that are like members of the trans community, because I have, I like I said, I've made friends with 3 or 4 different streamers who happen to also be members of that community, and I think that it's because they put in their tags those specific terms, and so when you click on a show that has those tags, it'll show you other shows that have those tags. So my suspicion is, I'm not saying this is true, I'm saying this is my suspicion. My suspicion is that the tags hold more weight on Twitch, where with YouTube that's why we can never get found, because like you have it's this whole mishposh of, you know, A, it's slanted completely to the right, but B, like it's slanted towards bigger channels. So
I'm going to interject that there is something that makes Twitch different in that in YouTube, yes, I think it's more algorithm based and sometimes tags, but not as much with how many tags and how many videos there are. But with Twitch, there's the effect of people rating their channels there's a bit of a spider web of where you start to where you end up, depending on who you go to. And some nights, if I have multiple choices on who to raid, I'm going to think about the people that are in my chat and where they might most want to go. Sometimes it's not just, I don't know that every streamer considers that, but depending if I'm in the Vesica Pisces, the middle where it's art community and atheist community. So if I have more from the art community, I might raid to an art streamer that night. If I have more from the atheist community in my chat, I might go to an atheist channel or whatnot. So in that way, Twitch is a little bit different. That where you raid over to is going to introduce you to new people and new things. So there's a little bit more than the algorithm. I don't ever look in my recommended feed really, because I have raided in and met other people, or I meet people in people's chats and I follow that way. So I think Twitch is a little different.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of like how I feel. I think that's a good way to put it. It's that you sort of end up with this, like HR said, a sort of a little spider web, where it's like, I didn't even realize that this was something that was a thing until recently. Like there's Twitch streamers like USA Hole, Carpe Pax, Proudly Radical, Echoplex Media with Dave. Obviously we've known Dave for 8 years or 7 years on this show. He was on this show back in 2017. But like it seems like there's this corner and like all those streamers know each other, right? Like they're all cool with each other. They'll pop up in each other's chat. And then so it seems to me like that the Twitch algorithm sort of keeps me to people who might be adjacent to them in some way. Like maybe maybe haven't met them yet, but they also, one of the streamers that I'm connected to now is cool with them. So like I would never get a recommendation for like Alpha Wolf, for example, even though I know Alpha Wolf. I've talked to Alpha Wolf. my co-host Mikey is like good friends with Alpha Wolf. I've never got a recommendation for Alpha Wolf.
We're
show.
intimate partners.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like I literally know Alpha Wolf.
With the game
and I don't know, like, you know, let me make my screen bigger here because I always have it on. Like, I have no idea who Fetchbug is, but they're being recommended to me right now. But
okay, why are we doing this on air? Like, that's
it
weird.
would never recommend me to Alpha Wolf though. So like, it's
Just
it's
reading people's
interesting.
names off. Like, let's chill. We don't know. We did not vet them.
Vic's
We did not vet
question.
that person. We did not vet that person. Let's not.
Yeah.
No,
I-
name people on Twitch. I don't know them.
Circling back to Vic's question and kind of agreeing with Dutch, I do think little cliques do seem to naturally form. Like, yes, I laughed. The algorithm works in mysterious ways. I don't know if that one way that Twitch is different, where it's kind of a spider web of doing the raids and meeting people. I don't know if that takes you out of an echo chamber. I think echo chambers are a huge problem all over the place. I do think it's somewhat important to try and consume media from both sides. It's just hard when one side is constantly just telling you who to hate, and when there's just anger and constant reaction. Like, I don't find a lot of it constructive. So I don't know. I think, yes, to a certain extent, there are echo chambers. And I wonder if sometimes people are preaching to a choir because they're not thinking about how to be constructive if they actually want to reach other people. I don't even know if that's their goal, to like reach across the
That's
invisible
weird, yeah.
lines or not.
I don't know. There's a couple.
Who
Like,
knows?
I'll watch a lot of Vic's never tuned in during this, but like we watch a lot of Second Thought videos, right?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Second Thought is?
The scary
No.
S word.
Honestly, you don't know what that is?
I have no idea.
It's
Uh,
the scary S word.
Yeah, go ahead, HR, tell them what it is.
It's the socialisms.
Oh, I mean, I'm down with the socialisms.
Yeah, so
I have a communist manifesto somewhere.
Fucking Tim.
but like there's channels on Twitch.
Communisms.
There's channels on Twitch that like
Count me out.
And I'm not saying anything bad about these people. I don't really know them that well, but like there's channels on Twitch that there's multiple ones that all they do is watch Second Thought videos. That's it. They don't do anything else but watch back-to-back Second Thought videos. Again, I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but it's not by a ton. That's what tons of mice. That's what they do. I would think that is sort of like an echo chamber. Though I would also think, my suspicion is that some pro-capitalists, some MAGA people might jump in there and try to, they want to go in and own the left, right? So it'll be like, you stupid socialist, blah, blah, blah. Like that's going to happen there too. But it's also an echo chamber, so.
What do you have? Is anyone going to define echo chamber? Or are we just all going to just guess?
All right, I'll define an echo chamber. An echo chamber is when someone has an idea and the people who like that idea reciprocate it in their own way, and then it just continues and continues that way. It can happen through news outlets, it can happen through social media, it can happen through streaming, obviously, but it's just one idea gets recycled over and over and over again to a wider and wider audience, and then at some point that audience stops. And it just sort of reciprocates inside that audience in perpetuity or until the idea dies.
Or
It's
takes
the
over.
Borg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Resistance is futile. We do have a lot of comments in the chat, so we see you guys' comments. Thank you. I'm going to read a couple of them real quick. Tattoo Lover says, so true. Twitch, it depends, because sometimes people use Twitch channels to find new Twitch streams to watch, like just chatting. Sorry, I butchered that. I don't have my glasses.
I know this is this is like a podcast or whatever, but Tattoo Lover said they were from Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. I live in Connecticut. So you're in Connecticut.
There's the two Connecticut residents in the same stream, because there ain't but 13 of you all together.
I think HR that Az was talking to you because he put this comment up right after your comment. So if you want to, I don't know if you want to read that one.
I don't know if the algorithms really mess with the politics. CATA average viewership for politics is under 1K at non-peak hours. Algorithmic growth is usually why political streamers move to just chatting.
That
there's something to say about what category you put yourself into, how many other people and everything. But I want to address, I spelled this wrong in the Twitch chat, said if the echo chamber is going to exist, we may as well try and use it to our benefit. Again, I question the utility of some echo chambers when you're just watching and reacting, and like, they fucking suck. If you're using it to like make people actually organize and do productive things out in the real world, then that's using it to your benefit. When it's just a bunch of people like hate watching or reinforcing the notions that they already have and saying, yes, other people agree with me. When you're doing that over and over and over and over and over again, and that's all you're doing, I question how beneficial that is.
I'll agree with that, because one of the negative effects of an echo chamber is radicalization.
Yeah.
And that is often how people get radicalized, is they get stuck in a loop of the same information over and over. And one of the rules of marketing and politics is if you say something enough times, it becomes true.
Yeah. And I question what that does for our mental health too, to constantly do things like that, to get angry and only see all that bad shit that's happening. You miss the nuance and the other stuff that's happening.
Yeah, and just real quick, Regios just made a comment here. I hit the wrong comment. I don't want to read them all. Tim, would you please?
Okay. From the chat. Don't even pay attention to the stream. Was set to politics. I used to most streamers using just chatting. Oh, used to. So they're used to, and that's a problem, I think, with Twitch, because just chatting has become a catch-all for just fucking everything.
Yep.
And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it being the catch-all for everything.
TYT is on Just Chatting. How are you on Just Chatting? You're a political show.
But I mean, that's Twitch. They're going to do what they do.
Well, people do that because they want the views.
Well,
you
yeah.
know?
And the problem with that is it's like a double-edged sword, right? And I don't want to get into too much about how fucking Twitch works, but if you go into Just Chatting and there's 300,000 people in Just Chatting, and the top streamers have 80% of those viewers, and you're all the way at the bottom with 3.
You know what though? But I don't know how. I don't know that that the channel. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, but like I don't know that. I think actually maybe it makes more difference with gaming, but because they have very specific channels. But when it comes to like the 3 that I've used, talk shows and podcasts, which is useless, politics and just chatting. I stream as politics on my channel. On this channel, I've played with different ones and I haven't noticed a discernible difference. But the point is, there are, like, in my recommended channels, I don't just get recommended one channel. Like, I'm looking through my recommended channels right now and I can see,
Please don't list off a name.
my Mikey's. There's like one politics one on there. The rest are all just chatting, but they're all political shows. Like, it'll say just chatting, but then the tag is politics. So like, I don't know how important the channel is. Maybe it is, but like, I can kind of see both sides of it, because in the past, when I've used talk shows and podcasts, there's been shows where we, have one viewer come in the whole show. So I don't know if that's.
I mean, there's an argument to be made for
theory, but
there's an argument to be made for being like a big fish in a little pond. If you have enough subscribers or followers or whatever, and you go into a category that isn't viewed a lot, then you could soak up all the oxygen in that room. But
how do you get to that? Like, how does Twitch recommend you that channel? I've never noticed that. Does that happen? Is that a thing?
Not really. I mean, I had minor success. This is a ridiculous conversation, but I've had minor success with this.
You started it.
Yeah, I know. With a certain video game, I was one of the only like 3 or 4 streamers per day playing it, and I got an audience doing it. But there's a ceiling to that too.
Yep.
You can only make it so far in a small category, and I think Twitch, I don't think that they're good at keeping people in the categories that they should be in, but that's just my personal opinion. And
They care about
Twitch
the
can
money.
do whatever the fuck they want.
They're going to do whatever equals more money.
But to change the topic slightly,
Wait, real quick though, HR, what category do you go in?
I'm generally in the art category, sometimes the crafting category, and on very rare occasions, I go into just chatting.
Okay, and Vic,
to change the topic just slightly, do you
I
think that
stream
all
under the beast mode tag.
Mikey streams under? They always
Mikey's under a
say he's
different thing every
chatting.
night. Yeah, so I've seen Mike. I know what Mikey's is. He's under whatever game he's on.
Obliterating the competition is my tag.
Just whooping the kids. That's
Killing
what he's
noobs.
Poning the noobs.
doing. I guess a follow up to the question I had: do you think that the political discourse on Twitch or YouTube or whatever social media platform you want to mention that's not Twitter, because Twitter is already just toxic as fuck? Do you think the reaction videos and the political discourse is harmful to our brains?
No,
Yes.
Ooh, we got 1 and 1. Where does HR fall?
I think too much of anything can be harmful. I think that we're not evolved to have the fire hose of information and anger that is spewed at us daily. I don't think it's good for our brains to have to think and deal with as much as there is in the world.
I personally can't stand it.
I get that.
Everything costs something. Nothing is free.
You know, and I will say there was a time in my youth of, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago where I would be completely on Dutch's side.
You were young 5 years ago.
I was like 30.
What happened 5 years in the last 5 years?
I just lost my hair, I suppose.
Stress.
Am I older than you? Holy crap.
I'm 30. I'm going to be 37 in June.
I'm older than you.
HR, you're 20. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Like I would have
Wait,
been
22. You're illegal. You can drink.
I would have been completely in Dutch's camp with this. Like I would react to absolutely fucking everything because I felt it was my duty to. But in my old age of 37, I have determined that what the fuck does it matter?
Well, let me pause you real quick. So like when it comes to like you seem to be painting reaction videos into a pretty narrow Tim corner. So like and I'll just use my own show as an example, though this is not, I'm not speaking for everybody. Like I'll do reaction videos on like comic book stuff too. I'll do reaction videos on science videos. I'll do reaction videos on, you know, a number of different things. Is it that you're burned out? And we can maybe even draw an analogy here to like there's a big community of people right now who are at the Marvel and DC movie exhaustion, the superhero movie exhaustion, right? So like Marvel's still going to make superhero videos or superhero movies, but there's a contingent of people who are like, I'm burned out. Fuck superhero movies. I'm ready for something else.
Are you
right?
asking if I'm burned out on political content?
Well, what I'm asking is, are you burned out towards the genre in general? Like, I don't want to see superhero movies anymore. Or I'm sorry, are you burned out towards the genre of like reaction videos towards right-wing content in general, or like all movies?
So I would say that I am burned out towards the argument. I am tired of arguing with those people. They are, like I said, they grate my soul, and I know that they're wrong, and I'm tired of telling them that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. I don't know how many arguments I've had with people that I know and people that I don't know about things that I tell them, I have studied this. Here is the data. Here are the statistics. You are wrong. And they will not change their minds.
There's
And
a
I've
lot.
said it-
There's a lot to be said for having the patience to think about how to approach people in the way that they can hear it.
No, I've done that. I've tried. I'm
It's
not
hard.
just I'm not just shouting you're wrong at people.
No, it's hard. It is legitimately hard because like I for the first time the other day on Easter, we had a family party, and like it's always super weird because I'm like one of the very few leftists in my family. It's all, right wing or super right wing. Like my uncle, I was talking about something with my aunt, and my uncle walked up and he goes, "My argument is I just say Democrats and liberals are stupid, and then I walk away the winner." Like that was literally his argument of how he engages in the conversation. But like I was able to have for the first time in a few years a non-heated conversation when it comes to social issues with a couple of my aunts, and it was refreshing. That has not been the experience, right? And a lot of I attribute some of that to the fact that I've been able to counter the points that they have intelligently because I've heard people like Matt Walsh make the extreme argument. I'm not saying that always is a benefit, but it has recently been a benefit. I think also, just real quick, because I also am exhausted with arguing with people like the fucking pastor we had on the show, who was a year and a half ago or whatever. And
I still haven't accepted his friend request. It's still sitting there in limbo.
but like Jeff, okay, great example here. Jeff Dornick reached out to me.
Please stop calling out
a
motherfuckers.
a month or so ago.
That's platforming. The dickhead. Yes, go ahead.
So he reached out to me like a month ago. I didn't answer him, but he was like, "Hey, we haven't talked in a while. I want to come back on the show, or do you want to come on my show?" And I was like, at first, and like I like to respond to people, but I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it because I don't want to fight with you. It's easier and less stressful on my brain to be able to pause Matt Walsh than it is to argue with JD, and I don't have to suffer the mental consequences from it, because like, and if you're engaging in discourse with that person or another person, like so they have Alex Jones on here or whatever, like if it's going to be if you're going to use the term that a lot of people use as debate, you have to, if you're going to engage in a civil discourse, part of that is listening to the other person. That doesn't happen in those in those environments so much, because they'll talk over me. I try not to talk over them, but I end up having to do it anyway. They'll refute you with points that from sources that you've never read before because you've never heard of them, because there's some echo chamber on the right, and they'll say, well, you haven't done your own research, you're in an echo chamber, and then the conversation goes nowhere. And it becomes exhausting to be in those one-on-one political arguments where I find I am able to satisfy my interest in having those conversations by being able to pause Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or Pat Robertson or whomever the case may be. So for what that's worth.
I get what you're saying, and I guess to more accurately articulate my my view is, I love comic book movies. I love superhero movies. However, the argument between Marvel and DC is exhausting.
It's also over.
Yeah. But
I don't care. It's cool art. I look at the colors and the line weights and other things like that.
I have no problem debating people on the merits, and actually discussing conservatism. I have no problem discussing actually any political or philosophical ideology.
It's the social issues, right?
And the social issues are fine too. I've had very good debates with people about gun rights, even, or what their views on abortion are, or stuff like that. Like, I know my argument, and I know what their argument would be. However, lately it has become impossible to have an intelligent conversation or a reasonable conversation about anything. And it is exhausting to debate people on the internet, which is why I don't anymore, except live on Twitch. And I don't engage in like Facebook conversations. I don't engage in Twitter conversations. I don't look at comments on YouTube, just because it makes me angry, and I don't want to do that to myself.
Yeah.
And when I try to reason with people on those platforms, it doesn't work because they're anonymous in one way or the other and can say the worst things they want to say without any repercussions. And it's just not an honest debate to have with someone. When it comes to like my family and whatnot, it's easier to talk to them because, like HR said, I know where they're coming from with it, and it's easier to have a conversation. However, they are still infuriating. But people I don't know on the internet, I just don't have the time for anymore. I just don't have the mental space.
I
for it.
rarely get into debates and arguments online. And when I do, I tend to match their speech and their attitude. If they're being nice and calm, I'll be nice and calm. And if they're being a dick, I will sarcastically, like maliciously comply back, kind of. But I don't have a lot of energy for it. It's got to be something like special. I got to be in a special mood and have energy that day. And it's usually, I'm not debating a specific person. I'm like, it's an idea, you know, and I keep it focused on that, and I try to ignore the trolls, but it's tough. The world is crazy. People online just say shit to people that they would never say to people's faces. Some of them would, but
spend
I don't
time
know.
in a Fortnite chat.
Maybe I think Mikey's with me. Like, we being creatives would rather create stuff and then be watching shit like that. Like, we want to make our stuff.
Yeah, and like to Mikey,
I want to
go
say
ahead.
something. And also, you don't have to watch the Matt Walsh dude to disarm your crazy uncle's arguments. Like their arguments are pretty easy to dissect. They're very front door. There's nothing sophisticated or new about them. They're just meaner. That's all they are. They don't have any new political idea. That's why they got through Roe v. Wade, and they've been fucking spinning their tires. They have no idea what to do. That was the plan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
They
you see-
have there is nothing after this. They have nothing to say or do
That's why you see
that and lower
trans hate.
taxes.
That's literally why you see trans hate.
because they have
don't
nothing
know
else
what-
to do.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't know
well-
where else to go.
They're the party of no ideas.
But
They
that's
literally
have
no new
that's where
ideas.
I say, where is it most important to spend my energies? Refuting ideas online, or doing what these people are doing and going and making laws? Like going and supporting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because let me, and the other part of it was like, Dutch, if you want to do debates, you could start debating people, and then you will quickly learn how much of a waste of time it is. I've seen the Christian atheist debate over
Yeah,
and over and over, and it's the same shit from both sides.
Yeah.
And nothing ever gets talked about, and nothing ever gets. It's the same thing with politics.
Yeah,
So there's
unfortunately.
So if you debate people on, like, if you actually debated the people on the ideas that they're purporting to believe, they quickly run out of gas. Like, there isn't anything there. It's just a bumper sticker at the end of the day. And they have a couple of sentences to back up that bumper sticker. There's nothing there. It's empty. But they'll do typical debate things where they want to change the topic, and they want to non sequitur you to death, and then they want to fucking red herring this and that. Like, they'll do all the dancing around shit, but when you just like combine like terms, they're not saying anything. And I haven't seen anything from anybody on the right wing new since 2004. They don't have anything new.
And I think that
real
even
quick
people-
comment. Azrael says you can't get through to Christians and Republicans. That's why I discriminate.
And Muslims aren't much better.
Oop, I didn't mean to click that. But hey, it's never a bad thing to click a tons of mice comment, I guess.
Yeah.
Jesus might come strolling in.
Yeah.
I just wish that
He
echo
strolls into my house.
chambers-
He's gonna catch a lead infection. Don't walk up in my shit.
Which one, the Caucasoid Christ or the Hebrew Jesus?
Buddy Christ.
They're both made up. It doesn't matter. Like that's why I'm like, I can't believe all this. Like
Well,
I can't with people anymore. It's too
Well,
bad. Because I don't know. Like I feel like I've seen behind the curtain too many times to entertain Tucker Carlson. You know what I mean? Like
I
I've
would like
seen
to
too
see
much to.
Oh, sorry.
I've seen too much to now pretend like this is a valid human who's talking to me. Like
I would just-
like you
I
don't
would
even
love
believe
it.
this shit. You're just saying it to piss me off.
Mikey, you keep pausing for just long enough for me to think you're done and then you keep
He's
going.
good at that.
Well, quit jumping my bones over here, HR. I'm trying. You're just all over me. Like, calm down.
Word choice.
Come here, Dex.
I just wish that people who are doing response videos and arguing against these ideas would then take it a step further and put out a call to say, okay, here's a thing happening in this state. If you live in this state, write to your reps.
That's what I've been trying to communicate to the atheist community for 2 years, and everyone keeps telling me that they don't care about politics.
Yeah, because I've had people be like, well, you don't argue online and stuff. And I'm like, no, but the few times that I do post, the liberal groups that I'm on in my area, one of the only times I post on there is not to like bitch and complain about this or that. Can you believe this person? This person sucks.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, here's this bill coming up that they're about to pass. Here's where you can contact your rep. Here's the link to that. Can you please go do that? That's the only time I chime in, because these arguments need to be had so that new people who are just too tuned out, tired, sick, overworked, when they finally do tune in, they need to be able to hear these arguments. There is a place for it, but it's a lot of it's not productive. They're not going anywhere than like, this is fucking wrong. Like, do you agree? And that's as far as it goes. And these people that are on the right are in the courts and they are making laws and they are doing things. And on the left, we're not so much. So I would just like to see more of a call to action, something more productive being done. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fair point. And just to kind of follow up on that. Well, actually, Mikey said something interesting. He was like,
oh boy,
the atheist community is like, I'm not interested in politics. When you said that, it was shocking to me, because that's what these conservative Christians continue to say. Oh, this isn't political. Yes, it is. But anyway,
what does that have to do with what you just said? You did not. Hey, hold on. Shut up, you. You did not connect the dots. How does what I said connect to what you just said?
Directly. You said
I didn't hear the connection. That's what I'm asking you to connect.
You said that you've been trying to petition the atheist community to do this for years, and by this I mean what HR was saying about, like, writing your congressman, this thing is happening, show up at this event, and the atheist community's response to you is, I don't care about politics. That's the exact same thing that the religious right will say, is that, stop trying to make this about politics. I don't care about politics. This is just
you're
religion.
You're misframing what I said. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean it in the way that you're saying it.
All right, fair enough.
I think what Mikey was trying to say is that the atheist community is not organized to deal with politics.
We're like herding cats. We agree on one thing. Like, literally, that's it. So when people are like, oh, the atheists are doing this, and we're like, we are? Like, we didn't know that.
It's like I've been trying to get people to understand that atheists are a voting bloc for a couple of years now, and I've been just screaming into the void. So
while on the other side, the white Christian nationalists have taken over a political party,
right? And they've made themselves a vote. Like, they're the most powerful voting bloc there is. They're also the highest percentage voter. Progressives are number 2.
Give them like 5 years; they'll all die off. It'll be fine.
Unfortunately, there's more coming up behind them. But to HR's other point, though, like that, I spent and this is a place where Mikey's going to say, I told you so. I was into Twitter Spaces for a long time, and I stopped after Elon took over, of course. But like I started to lose energy before that, because my argument was what, you know, and this kind of ties into what HR was saying. Like, I was never interested, or I shouldn't say interested, but I never had the expectation when I would engage in a debate with someone in a Twitter space or even on a YouTube channel. Like if I went to a conservative YouTube channel, I was never under any illusion that I was going to go in there and change the host's mind, right? It was more about, because they're going to fight their point to the death. They're always going to think socialism is government control, you know, regardless of the fact that that's not true. But I was there to, you know, kind of be the voice to the person HR was talking about, where when to her comment where, like, you know, someone gets off work and they're like, I'm going to click on this and see what's going on here, so that they can be able to hear the appropriate point of view, or at least a counterpoint to what they might be, you know, that their algorithm would point them towards. The issue with Twitter Spaces specifically, and the reason why I got away from those, was because people on the left didn't engage with me, and like I kind of felt like I was doing it by myself. So like if I would go into a Twitter space and let's say there'd be 150 people in there, and there's 3 people on the left, and we're making good points and have good arguments and combating bad false information. But when you have 75 speakers on the right who are all echoing that we're the idiots, the person at the, you know, and you also have to like play nice and take your turn in a Twitter space, right? Raise your hand and then it's your turn to speak. You get your 5 minutes. The person who's just chiming and listening because they don't know, they're getting too much information from one side and not enough from the other. And I was trying to get, you know, the lefties in the room to, you know, in the lefty rooms I was in, to come in and like, hey, let's engage in this, and these ideas need to be combated. There was no interest. They're like, oh no, I'm okay with just like creating my memes, you know what I mean? And like, that's fine, that's what they want to do, but like, that's why I think it fails, because on the left they're not motivated to engage in those conversations, where on the right they crave it. And maybe that's the right winger in me, because I was a right winger for 42 years.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right, Dutch, because, you know, going all the way back to, I don't know, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, like when I first started doing Speaking from the Center, it was a live call-in show on a website called Blog Talk Radio. And we were one of maybe a few like liberal-ish talk shows, and there was a million conservative talk shows, like far as the eye can see.
Yep.
Conservative talk radio. And I think that existed even before the internet fucking existed.
Oh yeah, conservative talk radio has been around like forever.
Yeah.
Where is left-wing talk radio? It doesn't. They just say anything that's not conservative is left wing.
That's what I'm trying to say, is like, I don't know like how it all started. Maybe that's something to look into, but conservative
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah. Conservative media, conservative talk radio, whatever it is, conservative podcasts outnumber liberal media. And you know, if you go all the way back to like just post 9/11, when Fox News really took off, and they were the biggest 24-hour news network forever, MSNBC and CNN didn't even have their shit together, and CNN happened first. But Fox News saw the business model and took it, and then they hired all these guys from conservative talk radio, and they hired all these guys who no one had ever heard of, and made them into big name political pundits. Like, who heard of fucking Glenn Beck before Fox News took him
Michael
off?
Medved, all these.
I think it's a lot easier for them to be successful because their message is more cohesive.
Right.
It's basically
it's cohesive, and it's fear-based, and it's there's a call to action.
Yeah, it's fear-based. They're telling you who to hate and punch down on so you don't look up. But On the left, we have a much bigger variety of tactics and ideas on how to move forward. So,
We're also a more diverse community.
yes,
Yeah.
but we are also guilty of not bringing people along. And if they say one thing that's out of line in some spaces, they get kicked out instead of getting educated.
Yeah, and you know
Well,
what?
that's
That's funny
true.
that you say that, HR, because you know, cancel culture is a thing on the left. It's to other people on the left. We don't cancel people on the right. Ever.
I would argue that cancel culture doesn't exist, then you can't cancel someone.
Well, you know what? When I'm on a micro level, what I'm talking about is like kicking someone off a podcast or out of a Twitter
Oh, I
space,
see. Because
Or-
fucking
or
what's his
blocking
name?
them on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of cancel culture that the left engages in. Like, oh, I'm going to defriend you on Facebook.
Oh, I see. I see. Actually, just like not socializing with people, but
I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
Yeah, I don't want.
Ah!
But I think there is a purity test on the left, just like there's become a purity test. There is a purity test on the left, and I think that we need to not be so stringent about who we're fucking political allies with sometimes,
Right.
because you don't have to be 100% on every single issue to be in one ideology or another. There are people who are, fiscally conservative and socially liberal, or the opposite, or both at the same time. Like, I know that the word moderate has become a dirty word in politics,
It
but
has.
it is the moderates who make up the bulk of political parties. And the 20 to 30% of people who are
Ideologically.
all the way on the right or the left can't get shit done without the moderates. And the moderates have been thrown out of both parties at this point.
Real quick, HR, you have a comment.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared of the word anarchist.
HR.
What?
Read the comment, please.
I have to read the comment.
Thank you.
We'll agree with you on that. It's hard to get the layman on board with complex concepts like anarcho-transhumanism because it's very hard to explain. Yeah, if you tell someone you're an
Can you
Huh?
say, Jesus Christ. Can you say who read that, please, so they can get their recognition for their great comment?
Azrael Morningstar.
Thanks, Azrael, for the question there. Thank you.
Thanks.
Jesus.
The statement, not the question.
Thanks.
But yes, if you bring up that you're an
Remember.
anarchist, if you say I'm an anarchist, which if you say that, most people don't understand what it actually means.
Yeah.
And they just think you're evil.
Well, I've said this a few times. Like, coming from a suburban bubble, right? I was taught in school that anarchy equals chaos, right? Lawlessness and chaos. When I learned that anarchy didn't mean that, when Irish Swede told me that like 2 years ago, I was like, oh, and I was already on the left then. I just didn't realize that anarchy meant something different than what I was told it was. It wasn't even a word I'd bother to look up. It's like, hey, someone said, what's anarchy mean? Like, oh, it's this anarchy. This is anarchy in this place. You know what I mean? Like, if it's chaos, and nobody would be like, oh, by the way, that's not what anarchy meant. That happened to me 0 times in 45 years of life. So that was an interesting thing to learn.
Dutch, I'm going to call you Norfolk Southern because you completely derailed me.
Good. Well,
I
Norfolk
hate you.
Southern's not the only one having
I
derailed.
hate you, Tim. I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah, but the one thing that I will add to HR and Tim's comments is that the left, like I said, they are more diverse. So like we have the trans community, we have the Black community, we have the Hispanic community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all these communities have slightly, there's the spectrum intersects in places, and then there's places where it doesn't intersect as much. And some people might be part of two different groups, but on the left, one of the dynamics that was very toxic on Twitter was I found the most hate coming from the centrist Democrats, right? That like the Hillary Clinton, she was right team. And the like any criticism of Kamala Harris from me, who by the way is an individual with a lot to criticize, especially having lived in California when she was Attorney General, was grounds for dismissal from the group.
I think that's a problem with like people in general, and I don't know why, but people always hold up politicians that they like as some sort of like hero or something, and politicians aren't heroes. They should never
Katie
be.
Porter's a hero. No,
like Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Donald Trump and all these fuckers, like they're in it for whatever they're in it for, but they're not heroes. Politicians should never be heroes. They're public servants.
Well,
That's
Donald
what they
Trump's
should
sure
be
a hero.
seen as.
and I'm
like-
gonna say I don't know how much experience the rest of you have with actually like working with people, but I've run a committee for my town council and been at the council meetings and interacted with all the people.
No,
I've
Tim, you were just a
done it
soy
all.
boy on the panel.
Shut up.
Mhm.
I run a
Mhm.
political action committee. Shut up.
So I'm just saying there is a bit of a difference in how different factions interact in person than there is online when you can hide behind that keyboard and you just people say things they might not necessarily say. People do hear you more when you're actually in the room speaking differently than people do on Twitter.
No,
That's
true.
my point of that.
I've seen a lot of that in my town. Like the Democrats and the Republicans will shit talk each other all day and all night on social media. But when it comes time to vote in town council meetings or whatever they do behind closed doors,
It's 6-0
yeah,
or-
it's basically
or
'cause my
5-1.
town is
Yeah.
run by Republicans, but whatever. It
Is different. It's
they- yeah,
different actual
they-
meeting with
they're-
how they interact and treat each other. And
Yeah.
sometimes they do listen to each other a little more and move their individual needles a tiny bit on tiny things.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of that in action. I will say that actual politics and actually getting policy done is miles different than what you see on social media or in the news. Like Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer, they talk a lot. Like they're colleagues, they've been colleagues forever, and they work to get shit done. Now, do they perform in front of the camera? Of course they do.
Yeah, they go to lunch together.
And then they go to lunch together. And actually, one of the big problems with Congress in the last decade is that a lot of the members have stopped having lunch together because they don't have a common lunchroom anymore. For some reason, they stopped all that. And now they don't talk as much. They don't know each other as much as they used to. They don't. go
That's
out
true,
to
but it's hard
drinks
to
as much
talk.
as they
It's hard to
used
go to lunch to someone who's trying to take women's rights away.
But even back in the 60s or the 50s, the whole civil rights era, they still sat together, they drank together, they had a good time. Like Tip O'Neill and
Yeah, but none of those guys were not white supremacists.
some of them weren't.
I-
The
I don't know
Republicans at
about
the
that.
time weren't.
Like they're
Of course, the Dixiecrats were, but the liberal Republicans weren't white supremacists.
maybe not by the 60s, but like if you there was like in the 60s though, like ideas that that black people, there might be cognitive differences between white and black people, or that black crime is due to some genetic fucking disposition of black people. Those ideas would have been far more commonplace to be for the person on the right and the left to have that that thought going through their head as just something that they think is true. So it's nowadays people with those types of ideas shouldn't be in Congress. They are, but like if you could, like, just because you fought, like I say this a lot, Abraham Lincoln was a white supremacist. The idea that he wasn't a white supremacist is absurd. If you look at the history, That doesn't mean he hated black people. That doesn't mean that he didn't fight for that. He didn't emancipate the slaves in a de facto sense.
This
Um,
goalpost
But
is
he
too
was
far for me to
he
make.
was well. He
I
was
don't
a
know.
white
I don't know why
supremacist.
we've gone in this direction.
Speaking of goalposts, I think that's part of the problem because to a certain extent, yeah, it is difficult to interact with people that are actively trying to harm you and take away your rights. On the other hand, you're not going to have conversations and deals happen if you don't. And like you said with goalposts, part of the problem is politics shouldn't be sports, and it's fucking sports.
That's true too.
That's what it's become.
I would say
And
that politics has always been a full contact sport.
yeah, that's kind of true. Going
I didn't
back.
realize that was true until 2016. I'm like, can I real quick share anecdotal story for fun.
Real
You know
quick.
when I
Someone
realized
start a
politics.
timer.
You know when I realized politics was sports. During one of the debates, it was going against Monday Night Football, and I was flying that night, and I don't remember what airport I was in, but I had a layover or I landed or whatever the case may be.
I thought you
And
meant you were really drunk or something.
yeah,
No,
I had a that would be a
were you
hangover,
actually
not a
flying,
layover.
or were you in a plane?
I was
Were you
flying.
lifted or lifted?
I was flying high, then I had a hangover. No, wait, I was flying in a plane and then I had a layover. And it was so as I'm walking through the terminal, you have the bars and stuff.
Mhm.
And Monday Night Football was on. And so was Hillary versus Trump. And 90% of the TVs, people were just amassed around the debate and basically ignoring the Monday night game. Now, maybe it was a bad matchup. I don't remember who was on, but I remember thinking, why would they have a political debate against Monday Night Football? Are they stupid? And then I landed and I was like, I'm stupid. There was this transformative moment walking through that airport where I was like, holy shit. Now, I was always under the impression, I kind of thought it was born that during the 2016 election. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it seems to me like before that would not have been the case. Like Romney, Obama, would that have been the case? I don't know. But that was the day that I actually realized it.
So, I mean, I would say that that debate was sort of a weird turning point in politics where the gloves just sort of came off for, people who
The
supported
decorum
Trump
and
and all
rules of
that.
debate
Yeah.
were suspended.
And I would say it all. I mean, I've read a few books where this all sort of started with fucking Newt Gingrich when he was a freshman congressman, and he tried to break the unbreakable Democratic majority in Congress in the 80s. And Newt Gingrich started this whole fucking thing that Trump is on now, or that Trump was on. The whole just being abrasive, being an asshole, not working with the other side. Like Newt Gingrich is the fucking patient zero for all of this. Because before that, yeah, the Democrats were in power for like 50 years in Congress, but they still worked with the Republicans on shit. And they still talked and they still had lunch together. But sometime around the time Newt Gingrich became speaker, everything fucking changed.
94.
Yeah. And it became the sort of radicalized, polarized version of Congress that just has gotten worse since then.
It's the contract with America.
Yeah.
So maybe the issue is that it's gone from sports to culture war. So actual policies and things are no longer getting done, and it's just culture war.
Yes.
Well, so now you can't dine with the other army. You can't be seen behind enemy lines.
Yeah, Newt figured that out. He's the one who he didn't create wedge issues, but
no, but he was the one that found like the rhetorical style, because around the time
in the church too, because the church wasn't roped in that much. They kind of got roped in under Reagan, but he really pulled them in.
Sounds like a dig to me.
And just real quick to rope Fire by Night into this.
Oh God!
You got to remember, Fire by Night was like 88, 89, right?
Jesus
they had
Christ.
an anti-gun episode.
Cool.
Like they were anti-gun.
Yes.
Like anti
owning
Second
weapons.
Amendment, owning a gun.
Yeah, anti-owning weapons.
You shouldn't own a gun.
And that was the last
well,
episode. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. We've
Yeah,
had
but,
our
like,
full-on Fire by Night recap.
But like that just goes to show that in whatever year that was, 86, 87, 88, I don't remember what year that episode came out. But like the whole theme was like, you know, Jesus was a pacifist. We shouldn't have you have a gun in your house, like, oh my gosh, that's bad. You know, Jesus is enough was basically the narrative there. And I had to pause it. I was like, holy shit, like, because that's the way that I grew up. I grew up in a Christian home that guns were like completely unthinkable, you know, and now they're part of the identity.
Yeah, now there's, what was it? 1.2 guns for every person.
I think it's 1.7, isn't it?
It's 1.2.
Oh, I've been misquoting that. I thought it was 1.7.
It's 1.2. There's 120 guns for every 100 people.
But that's the thing right there, where a lot of people aren't discussing solutions that will actually work. They're doing more knee-jerk things that are not going to work. And they go to specific talking points instead of diving into the nuance and really seeing what would make a difference on both sides. On one side, they're like, no, we're not going to talk about it. And then the other side, they're like, we just need to ban this one thing. And it's like, no, there's other actual steps that you need to be taking that we're not doing and no one's proposing.
With the way that constitutional law has gone and with the way that states are interpreting everything, my actual thought on this is that there is nothing that can be done. There is nothing on gun reform that can be done.
Nope.
To affect the amount of guns that people have, to affect the amount of ammunition that people have, and to affect what people think about other people when they have guns. Like, it's game, set, and match for gun rights guys.
It's match point, dude.
The only way out of it is a new Supreme Court.
Yeah, or another constitutional amendment.
You're not going to get that. You're not going to get. You're not going to get that. Yeah, it's
there is meaningful way policy wise to reform gun laws. There aren't enough states willing to do it, and there will never be enough states willing to do it.
But it's just way more nuanced. Like, there's some people saying that it should be licensed, kind of similar to the DMV, but it should be super expensive. And then I'm like, no, then you're just penalizing poor people.
Right.
That's
exactly true.
Like, so, and I do agree, there should be some sort of training and maybe some sort of permitting and licensing in a different way than we have now, more similar to the DMV. But when people on the right are like, they're going to take your guns. I'm like, no, they're not. Do the math. Literally, how long would it take? And that's assuming everyone gave them voluntarily. Say they go door to door. How many hundreds of years is that going to take? Like, you're being stupid. They're not going to be able to do that.
Well, not only go door to door, but are they going to go door to door, room to room, closet to closet, floorboard to floorboard? They're never going to find them all.
It just doesn't make like I said, there's not enough nuance happening. There's lots of feelings and it all fucking sucks. And it just all fucking sucks right now. And a lot of things are culture war and not actual policy and let's get shit done and have solutions. We're creating lots of problems that shouldn't be problems instead of dealing with the problems we actually have.
You know what? I think HR is right, and I can give a specific example. Everyone remembers the COVID pandemic, correctly?
What?
Yeah, it was a big thing that happened.
They didn't talk about that on Fire by Night.
I know. When the COVID pandemic got serious for the Trump administration, the president did whatever he did, but Congress actually passed meaningful legislation to help people. Now, they didn't do it begrudgingly at first. They were like, this is an emergency. We have to do this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got together. They passed a bunch of laws. They passed a bunch of funding measures. The government propped up the economy as best they could. And as they saw the COVID pandemic easing, then they, begrudgingly did things and were like, we don't know if we should give people more money. But
they were like, oh shit, we at least have to put a Band-Aid on this one.
Yeah.
And it should be noted, to Tim's point, like, first of
He's
all,
not
thank God.
finished with this point.
Well, but Trump didn't veto any of this stuff.
No, and
Yeah.
yeah, Trump, who would have rallied against it,
Had he known,
signed it all.
but he
signed
got his
every
name
single
on the
thing.
checks to go out to everyone's house, so
He
that's
thought it
what
was
made
gonna-
him fine
he
with
thought
it.
the name on the check. He thought that his name on it was going to be a good thing for him.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Congress is like, fine, you can have your name on the check, whatever. Let's just get it done.
Mhm.
And that was the most effective Congress has been in I don't know how many years. Because there was an immediate problem that they had to solve. They got together, they talked about it, and they solved it. And now, are they complaining about it on the back end? Of course they are. They're like, we spent way too much money. The Republicans will say, it's not our fault the deficit ballooned. It was the Democrats. And then there's no whole argument about that.
I'm
But-
going to take issue with your use of the words "they solved it." I will say they did something.
Well, right. They didn't solve it, but they used government towards a good end.
You're purity testing, Tim.
Yeah. They used government towards a good end. They gave people money when they saw people needed money. Maybe not enough, who knows. But they propped up the economy, they gave people checks, and they passed a bunch of laws to
They
help
did
people
their job.
They did their jobs.
What? They have
Um,
a job that's not social media and writing blogs and going on podcasts? Are you
And-
sure?
the sad part is they went immediately back to whatever bullshit they were spouting before the pandemic started and just continued on like nothing ever fucking happened.
Yeah.
Like if they had only learned the lesson of using government for collective action to help people and decided that, you know what, we learned something through the COVID pandemic. Congress should work towards making America better for the people in some
Great
way.
again,
Corporations are legally people, right?
Yeah,
in a way.
they have corporations have First Amendment rights.
Yep.
You
They
know,
don't have to wear a seatbelt though.
By the way, they won't forgive my student loans, but all those PPP loans forgiven in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of them.
I'd had the student loan debate again a couple of days ago. My dad said to me, "How would you come back at this?" So I'll tell you how I came back at it if you want to know. But like, he goes, "Well, I paid for your sister's college." Now let it be known, he paid for my sister's college and not mine or my brother's. We had to take out student loans, but my sister, it's the baby. That's fine, but. Can I get? Are you going to do it retro and give me my check back for $30,000? I said no. Is there a more substantive argument?
Yeah,
than
what
that?
time frame were these
Well,
student loans?
Well,
like,
I
what was
mean,
the
that
general
that one I
timeframe?
know. Like that one, like my dad used to bring up that one all the time. Well, I paid for my college, dude. You paid $1,600.
Yeah, he paid
for
like
college.
$5 for college.
You know, like it's. I'm like, can I, and then he was with my sister's argument. It was more. She graduated in 06 or something. So I was like, well, do I get to go back and buy my house for the price that it was in 1930 that you paid for this house originally? You paid $2,000 for this house originally. You know, my grandma at least paid $2,000 for this house originally, and it's now worth $400,000. Do I get to go back and do that and have all that equity? Of course not. You know what I mean? Like it's
I think the argument for that is, and in general, when people complain about, well, I paid my student loans and I had 5 jobs or whatever, it's not the fact that people are unwilling to pay their student loans. It's at this point people are unable to pay their student loans because they were promised whenever they went to college that they would get a degree and be successful and they would get a job, and the
Right.
colleges gave you the degree and then said, you're on your own. Like a lot of public colleges don't have the resources or the time to help every single student get a job.
Mhm.
That may be different at private colleges. My wife went to a private college and they were very helpful for me to get a job. Plus her degree field is in demand. She's an accountant. I'm a political scientist. There's not a lot of that out there.
The cost of
Also-
securing the degree has gone up, and the
And, yeah.
benefits that you get on the other end
Oh,
have
yeah.
gone way down. So
yeah. And
And-
also, Tim, you're not a scientist. But
I have 2 degrees and I have a bachelor's
then
of science and a
then
master's
put on a
of
lab
science.
put on a lab coat.
I will. I'll get a
I'm-
lab coat. You'll
Yeah,
see.
Dr. Jill Biden is not a doctor.
Anyway,
But the when I
Gatekeeping.
graduated college, I just want to touch on this. What HR said, I shit you not. When I graduated college in 2011, I got my degree late, right? So I literally was under the assumption that like now I was finally going to be able to get a $150,000 a year job because I'd been making 70, 80 my whole life, and I got it, and my pay is, within the ballpark of what it used to be before, but now I have a $62,000 loan.
yeah. Well, and part of this is that, college, the increase of college costs is 4 times the rate of inflation. And it has been since 1950 or whatever.
It's only 4 times the rate. I thought it was
Yeah.
more than that.
It may have accelerated more.
I
but
thought it was
last
like
I checked.
6.
But
And the interest on the loans, which isn't supposed to be bad, but it is.
yeah, and plus when you pay, they make you pay interest first and then principal. It's fucking the loan servicers. The system is terrible from top to bottom. The
It's
government's
predatory.
bad. Yeah, it's predatory. The servicers, the government was supposed to handle all this shit, by the way. The
Yeah, they
Department of
didn't.
Education was supposed to handle all of this, and they outsourced it to companies
To private
who
companies.
don't give a shit and are predatory. Secondly,
And you can't write it off because
yeah, you can't write it off. It's not forgiven in bankruptcy. Student debt is not forgiven in bankruptcy. Let me say that again. Student debt is not forgiven in bankruptcy.
But also, this debt is taken on at a time where it could be argued that you're not financially literate at that
Yeah.
age. Usually, you don't necessarily. You're being asked to choose your career for all of life at a very young age.
And finally, on the back end of this, states have stopped funding public colleges the way they used to. They have taken all them. I've been at hearings for student debt forgiveness in Connecticut, where the president of the Connecticut public colleges says, "I don't have any money left to give. You cannot get blood from a stone." The states have stopped funding public education, and so has the federal government. And
Yeah,
that is
and-
why their tuition continues to rise.
and you're missing another piece of this.
Fucking textbooks.
Oh yeah, that's a two things. That's a great point too. And I'm all for
Ridiculous.
teachers making money because teachers are underpaid generally, but we're not talking about your math teacher here. We're talking about a professor at a college who's making relatively decent money off these books.
My kid
And then
had
they changed-
a
they
thing
changed
on his math worksheet that was like, this person bought 4 college textbooks. They had $120, assuming they were all equal. How much did they spend? And I was like, no, this question is bullshit. Like, this question angers me. No.
He rented one of those books and couldn't afford the rest.
Well, yeah, but the point though is this professor will put out a
Professors
book,
don't make that much.
but don't
I know.
let me finish my point and then you can refute
Okay,
whatever it is you want to
okay.
refute. There are plenty of professors who make plenty of fucking money, but regardless of the fact whether you're rich or poor, changing a paragraph in a book or updating a picture or putting a new cover on it and then making it a new edition every 5 years and then justifying to sell the exact same book as a new edition that must be purchased now for $175 when you could just as well have gotten by with the one that your sister used 5 years ago is ridiculous. It's a racket.
Oh yeah, college
And
textbooks are a racket.
and the online version, the digital fucking copy, costs goddamn as much as the fucking paper copy.
I will tell you
Sure
that
it does.
and
when
this
you
is
buy it.
this is purely anecdotal, but the first time I walked into a
There's
college
no resale.
bookstore,
There's no selling back the digital copy.
no. The first time I went into a college bookstore, it was like 2004. I just graduated high school and I was going to community college. And I got my books for my classes. One of them was a Spanish 1 textbook. And they rang it up and it was $300. And the guy was like, okay,
Just
it'll be
do
$300.
Babel instead.
And I said, excuse me, it's $300 for that book? And he's like, yeah. I was like, keep it. And I dropped all my books and I never walked into a college bookstore again. And I wrote a policy paper on why college textbooks are expensive. And Dutch, you're exactly right. However, the professors do not make the royalties you think they do on those books. It's the publishing companies that make all
No,
the money.
I get that. I was trying to take the professors. I was trying to make sure I wasn't positioning that as this is like anti-professor.
No, I know
know?
what you're saying.
So
But I also know roundabout what like let's say a full-time tenured professor makes at a public university, and you're not much more better off than a regular teacher.
well, and
And a lot of universities have a way of keeping professors out of tenure. They just cycle in new grad students and pay them less and all that stuff. Like, you'd have to be like the max at your tenure to make any kind of real money at a college and have several book deals. Otherwise, they're renting condos.
Well, you can always just write
Cycling.
CRT books, but I just want to land my plane on my last point, and then I'll shut up. The other piece of what I was going to say, in addition to the textbooks, is when I graduated college in 2011. This was at the inception of this line of thinking. I was told my whole life you have to have a bachelor's degree to be successful.
Yes.
I got one. Now you have to have a fucking master's.
Oh yeah.
So now they're like, oh well, in order to set yourself aside, Dutch, you have to have a bachelor's degree. So I went and I got that, and now I set myself up for success. Now that now you're going up against a pool of candidates who have master's degrees, and then of course after that, and my wife is in this right now too. She has 2 master's degrees.
Mhm.
Guess what she needs to look at getting to be competitive?
No. Yep. I
Good
ran
night,
into
everyone.
Bye, Mikey.
Bye, Mikey. I'm
Good
about
night,
to get
dude.
out of here too. But cycling back to why people
I'll
also
let you
don't.
guys. Let's just do this. We'll wrap up the show. Closing thoughts from HR, and then promote your channel. Same to Tim.
I was just gonna say, I think another reason that people don't want to help people pay off student loans is because they don't understand like how bad it is. But also, there's been a big wave of anti-intellectualism.
responsibility. Oh yeah.
But
right.
they don't want to
that.
pay for people that are trying to get smarter. So
Yeah.
there's an anti-intellectualism
Turning point.
wave. So that's another reason I think. Well, they're like, we don't want to pay for that. They should have gone and gotten a muscle
Grade school.
working job, not a brain working
Yeah.
job.
Or a business degree. That's the big one. Is like, if you don't have a STEM degree, you're fucking useless.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, you need the arts and the social sciences and all the other stuff, because if no one's learning that, then who's gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, Math 110 when you get your degree in plumbing, which not a knock on plumbers, but not enough. But like, although like if you're an electrician, I mean, you have to have trigonometry. Let's be honest. But like in some of these, you don't. And there's like, oh, just keep them stupid, because when you're not educated, you're not going to know that they're lying about
to control.
vaccines or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do need to go because it is very freaking late here, and I need to go attempt sleep. But I draw things a few nights a week, usually digitally. Lately, I've been coloring on one of my pillows. This is mine.
You're Mike Lindell?
Yeah. No.
You have a couple people talking to you though. Great to see you.
Great to see
And
you. You mean class blindness? A rich person, when thinking of a stranger, thinks another person in their socioeconomic class, therefore giving them a bias that strangers do not need the help. Yeah, they've done studies with they picked a bunch of people and they had them play Monopoly.
Oh yeah.
And if they were richer, they were more prone to be an asshole. If they had a head start or had double rolling at the end, they were more likely to attribute their win to their own their own skill than the advantages they were given. People, if they could split money with another people or loan money, rich people were less likely to loan the money because they assumed they were thinking of their own class. They were like, that person doesn't need $20. Whereas if people were more poor, they would evenly split it. There's been lots of studies done on that. So yeah, there's a lot of bias, class bias in the way people think and stuff.
HR, do you watch on YouTube the channel Some More News?
I do.
Did you watch the one about what's up with rich people?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go watch some more news. What's up with rich people? But yeah, come hang out with me on Twitch. I color stuff. It's calm. We listen to audiobooks in the public domain, so like older books. And we color and draw things, and we have fun, and it's relaxing and a break from the politics and the debates.
What are you
Every so often, I go on a rant.
What are you gonna do when people come in there and demand Fire by Night?
I'm gonna send them to you. I'm gonna shout out Touch.
Put on follower chat only, and then let them talk.
All right, so we'll raid out of here.
I'll hang
Tim-
out for the raid, but I do need to go.
Tim,
drop right
Tim, what do you got? Starting shot.
Oh man.
Oh
I
wait,
was-
wait. Before you start talking,
God damn it.
Hellbound
Dutch,
had a
always
comment for
derailing
you.
Me.
Hellbound said,
I'm
"Get
just
your
going to call you
education."
Norfolk Southern from now on.
Hellbound says to Tim, "Get your education when you go to Sunday school."
I don't go to church. I don't like church. It's
Well,
No.
personal responsibility. You should have.
my parents were very divided because one of them was Catholic and one of them was Protestant, so I didn't go to church. Oddly enough, neither one of them was Irish. Parting thoughts. Fucking forgive my student loans, Joe Biden. And follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/VicStriker. If you talk politics in my chat, I will talk with you. Otherwise, I'm playing video games or making dice. I also make things. I make dice.
You made dice clay.
No, like dice for Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games. Polyhedral dice.
All right, so we're going to raid out. Let's go over to Jana Splinter. She's only got 4 in there right now. She's playing Fortnite, but she's very cool. She does a lot of figurine paintings and stuff like that. So we will head over to Jana's show. And I think she is her pronoun. I apologize if I am incorrect, but I'm largely certain I am correct. So we will see you guys. By the way, no Dutch Jason show until Monday. I'll be out of town.
Thank God.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, HR. Raid has begun. YouTube, see you later. All right.